Good evening. My name is John Welker. I am the Vice President of RPG Research. We are doing an RPG Theory Day, which means we're going to discuss the theories behind role-playing games, how they're utilized, and in this case today we're going to actually be talking about the different RPG formats. This is part of our training for our volunteers. RPG Research, as in its name, does research, gathers all this information together, tries to disseminate it, and also utilize it for our programs. We will be discussing the various formats of role-playing games, but before we do that, we will also start with a quick reminder of what we went over last time I was running one of these classes. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and introduce who's with me.
I'm Riley. I'm a fire archetype specialist.
I'm Danielle. I'm the treasurer and a GM level 1.
I'm Shane Dean, GM trainee, volunteer, RPG evangelist, and all-around good guy.
And the shadow you keep seeing moving around, that's Hawk Robinson. He's the president of RPG Research. He's going to be working on writing today.
Oh.
It does that because of the cable. You're just going to have to deal with that disappearing on you from time to time. That's what I get to deal with. It's the adapter. I replaced that adapter twice, and it's the display, just like they all seem to do it.
And for some reason, the green screen looks like it's trying to put a hole in the middle of my head.
That's the contrast.
Okay. So we're going to do just a quick review of what we went over before. This is the introduction that we went and gave to Eagle Peak, and with some of the videos that
Part of the Spokane Public School System.
Eagle Peaks is a alternate school in the Spokane Valley School Districts.
Spokane Public
The
School
entire
District.
school district?
Spokane Public School District.
We run a program there every Wednesday for their students. Well, I mean RPG Therapeutics does. RPG Research does not run this program because it's a paid-for program. All right, now back to finding where the mouse went. Go left. What is this, a New Jersey Turnpike?
Yep. That's what I'm guessing.
So if everyone can see this, we're showing the Eagle Peak and role-playing gaming.
It's very small.
Let's see. Should be. Yeah, good. Puts it behind him. Good.
Front of us, behind
All
you.
right. So Eagle Peak School and role-playing gaming. Role-playing games as a potential modality to help participants achieve their goals in accordance with Eagle Peak School's mission to provide a safe and supportive learning. I told you, I asked you, is there anything you wanted me to cut out? You said,
Yeah,
no.
you don't focus on the Eagle Peak part.
Okay, we're going to get initial thoughts and feelings about role-playing game stuff. We don't need to go over that again. At the time of this broadcast, when we first did this meeting, we had only decided upon 4 role-playing game formats. There was tabletop role-playing, tRPG, 1 T. 2 T's indicate it's something that is in or part of the table, the top of the table itself. That's TT, tabletop, as opposed to tabletop as on the top of the table. So tabletop role-playing games, tRPG. LARP, live action role-playing game. Apparently the dictionary has reverted LARP from becoming a acronym to an actual word in of itself.
Oh.
Ramifications to follow for those who care about how wording is done. SABM, Solo Adventure Books and Modules, and like Choose Your Own Adventure Books, etc. And this says CRPG, computer-based, but we have updated that to be electronic role-playing games, because there are non-digital role-playing games that are out there. There was a robot that you put in a cassette tape in there and would play a role-playing game with. Robot being a very robot-shaped device. Let's put it that way.
Loose term.
Then HRP is everything else, hybrid role-playing games, things that combine two or more parts of the other categories. I will give an example of that when we go into more details. Dangers and problems with role-playing games, sources, anything positive about role-playing games. This is where we got the audience to tell us what their inculated ideas, what they're already thinking about these games. We're not going to talk about the speakers right now. We are a 501c nonprofit, 100% volunteer-run research and human services organization at www.rpgresearch.com. The LLC side is not a nonprofit. It is a for-profit professional service organization, music and recreation therapy, therapeutic recreation, professional consultation programs, training, certification. That's rpgtherapy.com. Figuring out which one's best for your needs is whether or not you want a one-shot program or you are looking for research information and stuff like that. RPG research. If you're looking for somebody to run services for you or to teach you how to run services, or you want a professional dungeon master for your party, you go to RPG Therapeutics. We know about who Hawk is, we know who I am, and we know who Danielle is. Yeah. And Brooke Lively is somebody else that is good to know. So, inculcation of attitudes, these ingrained attitudes that we all get. Until the mid-1980s, D&D was just a game, as illustrated by Steven Spielberg's 1982 movie E.T. The same year, a TV movie Mazes and Monsters came out, accelerated the anti-RPG movement. RPG controversies were thoughts of suicide, homicide, violence in real life, disconnected from reality, break under pressure, interrogation, state secrets. There was actually a Middle Eastern country where their general refused to give anybody a top secret clearance or even a secret clearance if they played role-playing games, because they thought it would break under pressure and indication give up state secrets. Because if you played role-playing games, you are weak-willed. Meaningless. At a high level, these people who play role-playing games have no meaning in their lives. Occult and Satanism, they're led away from choose your religion that you want to protect. These people are antisocial. All role-playing gamers are dorks, nerds, geeks, losers, can't succeed in life, and live in their parents' basement. It's all male. There are no female role-playing games.
I don't exist.
You are a figment of my imagination, and apparently my mother's basement is above ground and thousands of miles away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most of my groups that I run have 50 or more % female. I have players of all colors and everything. We talked about last week the actual statistics on homicide and stuff like that. People bothered against Dungeons and Dragons, or bothered about Dungeons and Dragons. Sarah Pulling?
Patricia Pulling.
Patricia Pulling. We're listening. So she lobbied state and federal governments to outright ban or at least require labels and listing RPGs as dangerous, actually wanting them to say that they can cause suicides. She lobbied the FTC, lobbied CPSC, Consumer Protection, lengthy list of schools, libraries, prisons, and other locations successfully banned RPGs. Schools are slowly starting to get back in the idea. Prisons are even more slower. We're going to work this year on trying to get that reversed a little bit.
So just a note on that today, I'm having a conversation with somebody who actually grew up in the UK, and apparently they did not have nearly issues over there that we did. For whatever reason, they didn't get as wound up about it. at least on a big level. There wasn't call for a lot of bans and stuff. And that was just in the UK. As far as the rest of the world, I don't know.
Yeah, Canada and the United States, mostly, a little bit in Australia. I don't believe Japan had an issue at all with it.
Nope.
It's just mango with dice to them.
Yep.
I get to play with my mech.
Yeah. Why the Robotech game sold so well, because it's Japan.
Technically, it started there, but full circle stuff. BAD, bothered about Dungeons and Dragons, Patricia Pulling and Thomas Radecki. Satanic Panic, Moral Panic. Radecki has lost his license to practice due to this stuff. Mainstream
And
media,
several other things.
Christian religious leaders and organizations continue to perpetrate 700 Club. Pat Robinson every year still yells about Dungeons and Dragons like it's an like satanic possession by children's toys are still real.
He's concerned that role-playing games are going to lead to dancing. So.
Something like that. Chick Tracks. That was the famous Dark Dungeons, showing how evil we were, the players committing suicide, players being indoctrinated into satanic cults. And these claims triggered the beginning of actual research. Controversy triggering the research in 1982, there was the beginning of these controversies that subsequently triggered research efforts to check on the validity and the negative claims about RPGs and their players. Though bad, Radecki and others tried many times, not a single judge, court, or jury has ever accepted the D&D insanity or the D&D defense claims as valid or relevant. I'm playing D&D and that forced me to commit murder. Or I played Vampire the Masquerade and that's why I became a murderer. No, you're a murderer who happened to play a role-playing game. The relationship is not the same. And not a single court has once ever upheld that. Videos and... No, we didn't lose the slide. It's just... insert slide here. 1980s anti-RPG video collage. I have a different one I'm going to play right now because it's booted.
Spacebar.
Now you have to click on it.
Yeah, spacebar.
Here's an idea. Dungeons and Dragons can make you a confident and successful person. D&D is a tabletop role-playing game. Now, there are a lot of different tabletop role-playing games, but D&D is the...
Warning for you watching, you are seeing a green screen on other things. We can't actually show you this video due to technical difficulties. But these things are all available on YouTube. And of course, if you come to our actual training classes, or if you sign up for one of our paid classes, we will gladly show you these videos.
The originator, popularizer, largest, and the most well-known. First published in 1974, Dungeons & Dragons is a game built on collaborative storytelling. There is a group of adventurers, and they are charged with some sort of grand task.
This is a role-playing game. It takes place entirely in our collective imagination.
You know, like, save the important person, find the relic, defeat the badness. One person, the dungeon master or game master, plays not as an adventurer, but as the rest of the world. They play the non-player characters, the bad guys, the weather, a blade of grass, you name it. They are the one in control. The adventurers describe the actions that they would like to take to the DM, who then lets them know how it goes. There are a lot of rules and mechanics which make a D&D game go, but at the heart of it are these two things: improvisation and dice roll. In a D&D game, you are restricted, like you are in a video game, to a limited set of actions. When a problem or obstacle presents itself, you can try anything. Like, anything. Like, go nuts. Because a person, and not a computer, is on the receiving end of your crazy ideas, the possibilities are basically infinite. The DM will probably make you roll a dice, the result of which will be modified by your character's natural abilities, and then this determines how well you do in the game. Right? If you don't know much about Dungeons & Dragons firsthand, you probably know it by reputation. Tabletop gaming sits high on many nerdiest thing ever lists. These games tend to conjure a very specific kind of person. But assumptions about gamers aren't based on reality. It's because of common assumptions based on stereotypes supported by popular media, so that's not your fault, unless you write for Big Bang Theory, in which case it is your fault. Knock it off. The fact of the matter is that there are many famous outgoing people whose names appear on marquees all over the world that are Dungeoneers. There are some that you would expect, like Patton Oswalt, Rainn Wilson, Chris Hardwick, Alexis Ohanian, and Will Wheaton, but there are a bunch of others, like Vin Diesel, Kurt Schilling, Michelle Malkin, James Franco, Sasha Grey, and two-time NBA MVP Tim Duncan. It stands to reason that real D&D players don't actually fit their cultural stereotype. In fact, they have a chance to be more sociable, more outgoing, maybe even more successful than non-D&D players. Hear me out. German philosopher Martin Heidegger described the way in which the world is lit up through our interactions with it. And these interactions augment what he called the at-handness of entities within the world. To Heidegger, this is how worldhood is constructed within our consciousness. Basically, our view of the world is constructed upon our constant and varied interaction with things. The more things we...
Is Hawk having sped up, or is this guy an auctioneer?
No, he's an auctioneer.
Okay.
All of his videos are like this.
I do have one point of contention. When they brought up the typical image that is brought up.
You mean Urkel?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's great that they use that, but let's be honest. When society thinks of D&D, they think of somebody who looks more like Riley than Urkel.
That's rude.
You're the youngest white male in the room.
So? Just because I have glasses doesn't mean
And
you're
just
discriminating.
nerd is a nerd.
And I just forgot my glasses, so it's not a knock on you. But no, I mean, I just think that was, because this is one of the big things that I'm like, talking with people online that.
Actually, they think about Riley 100 pounds heavier.
Or maybe...
With Cheetos.
No, they have 10
pounds
pounds
lighter.
in their spectrum.
But, I mean, the thing is, it's one of the things that I've been, talking with people and trying to say, hey, yeah, okay, yes, I'm a white male, but that doesn't mean that I want to play an Anglo-centric game or that I'm going to run an Anglo-centric game. Because of this stereotype that we're fighting.
We're going to have a full talk show about cultural appropriation in role-playing games. We will discuss whether or not I can play an African-American shaman. Or...
with a broadsword and bikini male?
Yeah. That's not cultural appropriation, that's just sexism.
I'm sorry.
And titillation. Is Oriental Adventures even allowed to be a concept? Because one, Oriental is too broad of a term, and two, it's not 100% accurate to the cultural means and norms of the era, and it's fantasy. We're not going to have that debate right now because we have a lot to go through.
I just struck me.
In the head of like a club.
Interact with, the more we're able to react to new situations and go with the flow. The D&D universe is interaction on hyperdrive. It provides infinite possibilities, and it expects its players to constantly innovate within the game universe to accomplish goals, solve problems, defeat beholders. It gives you an infinite amount more flow to go.
Excuse me, flow?
The effects of the choices you made and skills that you learned during a campaign hopefully stick with you, enlightening new possibilities when you're normal you and not halfling rogue you. As a player, you deal with larger-than-life problems and the ever-shifting politics of collaboration. And as a DM, you learn how to manage an entire group of people and their environment. While you might be naturally shy or soft-spoken, if you have to play as a Dragonborn battle mage, you'll figure out pretty quick how to take control of the situation. Why? Because if you don't, then the campaign is doomed and there's no game to play. And if you, actual you again, are a little disorganized, but your pals are coming over for a game that you're DMing, you're going to make sure that all the character sheets and tiles are in order so that everybody knows who they are and what they're doing. Now, aside from having to perform a character in front of a group of people, players are expected to do their part in crafting an interesting and engaging story while it's happening.
How can I help you, dear madam? Oh, please, no need for such deference. I am no better than a gnome.
And you're not even really in control. I mean, dice rolling gives you a lot of experience with the randomness of the universe and how to deal with it or work around it. But you're right. Most people aren't super genius marksmen in real life. How is any of this actually useful? Unlike basically every other game, tabletop games require a lot of improvisation. And as it turns out, that makes them a lot like real life. And that's not all. Social dynamics, public speaking, creative problem solving, organization, mace swinging, these are all very useful real-life skills. D&D provides a system for understanding people's actions and motivations by giving them classifications of sane, insane, good, evil, and all combinations thereof. which is infinitely useful in real life.
I have people skills.
And while you might not be building a rope elevator in real life anytime soon, the fact that you had to describe in detail its design and operation to your DM is great practice visualizing and putting your ideas into words. Which, if you ever want to build something impressive with a group of people, which describes most fun careers, might turn out to be pretty useful. Of course, not every tabletop gamer is going to be a charming, savvy bon vivant with great problem-solving skills. And clearly not every successful anything is a former D&D nerd. But it seems a pretty easy case to make that D&D and other tabletop games nurture a set of skills which are not only useful, but maybe necessary for making it big.
Okay. Hope you all learned anything. There will be a quiz. No. So anti-RPG video collage. I need to, okay, left until I get it right. Is that what it happens?
Yeah.
There it goes. Okay.
Left to go right until you get to right, and then you have to go left.
Anti-D&D short collage. That's the one we want to watch.
Yep.
D&D, and it's become popular with children anywhere from grammar school on up.
Read it.
Not so with a lot of adults who think it's been connected to a number of suicides and murders. The idea of the game, which is played by highly imaginative and intelligent kids, is to assume the role of Irving Pulling, 16, an avid D&D player. She felt so strongly that it was responsible for her son's death that she formed a network of concerned people who warn others about the dangerous aspects of the game. Because of her involvement with D&D, Mrs. Pulling is often consulted by police departments around the country. I believe the game has been involved in a number of murders and suicides.
2004 Texas.
Called Dungeons and Dragons that literally destroyed people's lives. I mean, they got into this thing and they were almost...
That was on the 700 Club.
2012. Okay, so that was a very short collage. There was a much larger one. We'll talk about those kind of things later, if they come up here. RPG history, invention of the game, the role-playing games. So, quick quiz. What was the first role-playing game?
Little shoot.
Chainmail.
No, that's the first fantasy-esque.
Oh, first role-playing, Little Wars.
That's what
1913, H.G. Wells.
It's not Little Wars, it's...
You guys are trolling me, right?
No.
Why?
I asked for the first role-playing game, not war games.
Oh, okay, well, Dungeons and Dragons.
I just... War game.
Well, you're playing a role.
Okay, we already
but you're not rolling.
We set Hawk off on that one already because we watched a YouTube video.
Back in here. You're right.
We watched a YouTube video and a guy said that Strategico was one of the first role-playing games.
You don't play any of the roles. You just move people.
Right. So we had a discussion about that. Well, I mean, Strategico is not even a real war game in the definition of what war games are. So,
I mean, if that's your criteria, chess could be considered the first role-playing game then.
Yeah, I mean, come on. But no, because each individual character has statistics, that kind of bizarre stuff. So, what was the first publicly accessible, not just for the rich and military, war game?
H.G. Wells.
Little Wars.
You got the one we just mentioned?
Yeah. Little Wars, 1913 Wargaming. When did Tolkien come out with The Hobbit?
I mean, I could read it off your screen if you'd like.
You can stop cheating.
It's right there.
Stop cheating!
In the 30s?
Well,
1937?
1937.
Yeah.
And Lord of the Rings?
That was after World War II.
1954.
So The Hobbit caused World War I then, or World War II rather.
That would have been 2 years before, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so it was published and then we had World War II. It's Tolkien's fault.
You know that was running in response to World War I, so okay. Anyways, Chainmail was 1971. Now, what?
I think it was 1968.
1968 is when they started developing it. 1970 is when they published it.
Okay.
We've had this discussion more than once.
Now I can't cheat.
I knew we'd make him come in here.
We can't see
Actually,
the
why don't you
slides
two
then.
scoot that way, and then I don't have to do this quite as far.
I don't have to see
So
the
you can
slides.
quiz
I like
you.
this one. Oh my god! I can just move. Okay.
Thank you.
These children are so old.
I'm 17. Okay.
So, are you watching
Oh,
for
there's
comments?
yeah.
Yeah, that's what
Here,
she
I
said.
know the
Quiet.
answers. I'm gonna go over
Because
here.
I
Quiet.
commented.
Yes, Dan's here,
It's still
so-
saying it's not showing my
Dan's here,
comments.
so I'll go here. I
You
haven't
would see
seen
me
any.
saying ARG. That's Stratego's not a role playing game.
There's nothing.
It's down here.
Oh.
Why, you're up at the activity feed.
Yeah. There.
Oh.
You gotta watch the chat room.
So how many comments have we ignored?
Sorry,
Besides,
and they're all
None.
boxed.
oh, they're all hot.
Don't
Those
scare
don't
me
count.
like that. Have a seat. I'm not sure if I can get closer to that.
What?
The lack of beard.
Oh, you had that.
Oh.
How rude.
How rude! Yeah. I now look like Mr. McFeely. I just need the hat. All right,
I'm
so
trying to watch Twitch while.
No, just looking at the chat. We need to watch ourselves.
yeah, we're looking just for the comments. We don't need anything else.
Okay.
Just in case we have an audience member, audience member,
Hawk.
other than Hawk.
Other than all.
So, 1971, as you're right, it was being developed in 1968, but the actual publication date wasn't until 1971. Was chainmail. What was significant about chainmail? What is it? Yes, Riley.
It's a word game that at the back they had fantasy attributes. Like you can play as.
Like a single page.
Yeah.
Two, single double-sided page at most. The term role-playing game, RPG, did not exist prior to the invention of the recreational activity with the release of
D&D.
I would
Dungeons
say
and
that
Dragons.
didn't it come up after Dungeons and Dragons?
No. Dungeons and Dragons in the role-playing game actually mentions the word role-playing game.
Oh, okay.
Release of Dungeons and Dragons in what year?
74.
Very good, Riley.
Yay.
Detailed definition. This is going to take a little while. This is one of his shorter versions. A seated, cooperative, interactive storytelling recreational activity with structured rules in a shared imaginary setting.
I like that one.
That's part 1 of 4. Part 2. Participants include a facilitator and a referee known as the game master or storyteller or guide, dungeon master, lore master,
HMFIC. Sorry,
computer,
arbiter, game master, dungeon master, storyteller. Referee isn't even a term.
Lore master.
Yeah, there's all kinds of nice, good terms.
Animator.
No.
Yes, animator is a Toon.
Toon, Steve Jackson Games. The DM was the animator.
There's
It
another
was
one. Top secret is the director.
Oh yeah, I was trying to think if there was any more.
Or the administrator. That's the one.
You can tell what I played the most though, because I was like lore master, guide.
Why does animator have to be added to that?
He's getting on camera. Well, technically.
Yeah.
I mean, he's missing part of his
Never
shoulder,
died.
but
You felt
nobody's going to miss that.
2 minutes of real time.
Each participant verbally declares imaginary actions taken by the PC or the GM-controlled created entities. You have to tell us what you want to do. Results are determined or modified by static and random variables, enabling participants to vicariously experience through their player characters the imaginary consequences of those actions as defined by the game rules and the GM. Defined by the game rules. Did I just read that twice? Imaginary consequences defined by the game rules, the GM, with measurable PC and narrative progression, usually tracked by paper and pencil. That was all of it. Education rules. Education gamification, professional industrial role-playing, therapeutic recreation, education, instructional training techniques. So, RPG therapy roots, experimental psychology. This is not the stuff that we went over last time. Exploration, learning the telos theories. These are all slightly higher levels, so we're not going this. But we will do on place learning
That's the telos.
theory, self-determination, autonomy,
learning,
competence,
exploration.
social connection. But underneath that, we have here successful treatment of clinical depression, Hughes, 1988. Catharsis, Hughes, 1988. Low meaningless and alienation, D. Reinhardt and Klein, 1990. Only 17% of RPGs compared to 46 of non-RPGers. Improved reading math.
That's suicide rates. Or no, clinically depressed.
Yeah. So lower crime.
Now you can't read it because it's right in the thing, right?
No, it's not. That's not the issue. These are little higher end items that I shouldn't be talking about.
Okay.
Occult and Satanism. No correlation statistic linking between RPGs and occult and Satanism. Distinct personality difference. Guardsmen versus role playing gamers. 1998, role-playing gamers and National Guardsmen compared. Disprove stereotypes about lack of friends, neuroticism, isolated, emotionally immature. Psychology Reports, Volume 82, 1 February 1998. Many other skills and therapeutic benefits. Trying to see if there's anything else in here. Empathy, research.
They scored higher on empathy. Gamers did.
Christian Gamers Guild, christiangamersguild.org/frequent-asked-games. Theories about benefits, socially focused activities, problem-solving oriented, cooperative, cathartic, safe experimental space, swift consequential feedback, long list of learning benefits, awareness and introspective, help towards mindfulness, and empathy, some RPGs more than others, generalization of learning, notable aspects of role-playing games, structured rules, social, creative, pretend, measurable, involving. There's a long list here that we went over last week, and we're not going to be part of the training. Cognition, speech, theory. Well, that's because I'm just finding things worth talking about. I'm not going to the entire presentation. Tabletop role-playing games. We're going to get into more details on this in the next class. The pros and cons of tabletop role-playing games, caveats, life balance, etc., diversity, fit needs of everything. Famous role-playing gamers. As he mentioned a whole list, I will list a couple here for you. Nelly, rap musician. Sarah Michelle Gellar, actress. Judi Dench, Dame Dench. Harrison Ford, Jennifer Lopez, Vin Diesel, Hulk Hogan, Tim Duncan, NBA championship, Kobe Bryant, Emilio Estevez, Bare Naked Ladies, the entire band, Metallica, the entire band, Dave Chappelle, comedian, Ewan McGregor, actor, Alice Cooper, Nelly, the musician, Lou Ferrigno, Incredible Hulk, Daryl Hannah, Felicia Day, Paget Brewster, Claudia Christensen, Jenny McCarthy, J-Lo, so many. Jon Stewart, Stephen Colbert, Billy Crystal, Mike Myers, Ben Affleck, Nathan Fillion, George Lucas, all geeky role-playing gamers, along with Seth Green, Joss Whedon, Conan O'Brien, Stephen King, Jack Black, Marilyn Manson, Bill Gates, and Steven Spielberg.
You used Marilyn Manson in the geeky gamers?
Yeah.
Well, before he went over the edge, he was right in the prototype. Stereotype. One of those types.
I guess, yeah, as a kid he was. I'm like thinking post 19 years old.
Well, that's just his showbiz show. He's still the same misunderstood little child inside.
Well, and you can totally hear in his music his intelligence if you really listen to it.
Nice picture of a Dungeons & Dragons table that my people here can't see, but you guys can see online, showing dice, miniatures, tiles for their things in 3D. Example of a character sheet. There's no reason for you to try to look. It's
I know, I was just joking.
Limitation, immersion, flow. Gamers flow. Let's see if I have that video to show you. Because the purpose of going over this part is just quick overview and show you the videos you didn't get to see last time.
Yep.
D&D Flow Gamers. Hopefully this is the short one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And And I think we'll call it there for the night.
What? It's still early.
It's after 2.
It's what? I had no idea it was so late.
See? See what happens? You get so into it, you can't help but lose track of time.
Yeah, it's just like...
Okay, so that's the concept of flow. Oh, wow, it showed up on the screen here just where it's supposed to be. The idea that you...
It didn't play on there, though.
Okay, you can't. Because that's just a static image. But the LARP, or no, the role-playing game, or in the zone if you're doing sports, you lose track of time, you become unaware of the external environment. Hawk has literally gone up behind players and dropped books and not be noticed.
He circled me a few times, and I was completely oblivious.
You're so into the story that you have this complete immersion, or as close to complete immersion as possible, which is the height of what you're trying to go for in these games. All right, let's see what other slides this one indicates that I should maybe go over. Program plan examples. Programs. I'm boring all you people watching, on all of one person watching. Lots of references and things like that. So those were the videos that we wanted to go over with here. Let me see if there's anyone that I want to just hit just for the fun of it.
We do have one person. Oh wait, this is probably us.
We talked about inculcated gamer stereotypes. Here's an example of the Big Bang Theory's list of ways that they make people who play role-playing games not look like the best people in the world. In other words, they look like the cast of Big Bang.
It's gonna get crazy! Dungeons and Dragons! I've got my helm of lordly might, my boots of speed, and if things get too exciting, my inhaler of asthma.
Are we gonna sit around chatting like a bunch of teenage girls, or are we gonna play D&D like a bunch of teenage boys who are never gonna have sex with those teenage girls?
How many stereotypes have you seen so far?
I lost.
6.
Name some.
Asthma, no sex.
Well, okay, let's qualify. No sex with girls. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, no sex with girls.
Heterosexual.
Yeah.
Oh, and you know what else?
Pizza.
Well, I think anyone would want pizza, okay? It's
I know,
not
but
just...
but it's a stereotypical gamer.
Especially those of us who are not allowed to eat pizza at this time.
And they have
no rolling room. I would like to put that out there. Usually there's
a little bit right there.
There's this fairly large direct space, so that way you can see if your players are cheating.
Dice rollers helped with that. And if I remember right, I think the GM did most of the rolling in this one, just like Hawk used to do.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go on. We got some stereotypes.
I know it's not the night you had in mind, but why don't you guys stay and play with us? It'll be fun.
Fun? Yeah, okay, 3 weeks ago you bought crunchy peanut butter, but now you want the girls to play D&D. Do you have a drug problem? Well, I've just never played Dungeons and Dragons with girls before.
Oh, don't worry, sweetie. No one has.
Oh, that hurts my soul.
And just violated all my years of, and I'm not trying to say like I'm a saint or anything, but, when, maybe just because Tri-City is a little more diverse in some places, but we had a lot of girls in our gaming group. We had a lot of kids who weren't, little white boys. And so I see stuff like this, and I don't know, maybe, I guess I consider myself fortunate because my experience was different than a lot of other people.
Well, this is based on a stereotype from an outsider.
Yeah.
We are in our bubble. We know what our world is like, but people from the outside are looking at this bubble this way. I don't want to quite see it, but...
I don't exist.
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem is these stereotypes, they make it harder to have open, inclusive, accessible games like we're trying to do. It's so frustrating.
It's why there's hundreds of panels every year at different conventions.
about people of color, gender diversity, cultural diversity, because there is a difference between cultural diversity and color. Believe it or not, no offense to anybody out there that can hear me, there is no such thing as black culture. There is black culture from New Orleans, which is completely different than black culture in Nigeria. They're completely different cultures.
Or Chicago.
Or LA, or any of these things. The New Orleans blacks do not behave and do not have the same culture as a Chicago black. Being black and part of a culture is one thing, but there's no overarching world-dominating white culture, black culture, or purple culture, unless you're following Prince, and there definitely is.
So you're gonna follow that purple?
To be fair, Prince has more culture than he has culture to spare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Amy, there's one ogre left. Take him out.
Okay. He's that TSA agent. Come on. 19! This is turning out to be even better than Vegas. No, it's not.
Comments?
You think?
I have never lost money playing Dungeons and Dragons. I'm just going to
Right.
read that right there.
Then you weren't playing it right.
I can't believe
No,
that.
I have invested money.
What
I
is
have
her
not
name
lost.
in the show? The girl in the green sweater. What is her name in the show?
Amy.
Yes.
Amy. I can't believe Amy has never played D&D. Because that just seems like right up her alley.
Well,
exactly.
It's a stereotype.
See, she is like,
And that's the stereotype of women that you get, is someone who wears a sweater with a sweater. Or the redheaded goth girl. But yeah, no. That's the girl stereotype, is that they're overly
New to it.
either overly out of mainstream girl culture.
And I actually wanted to add that we say that this is something that we see, like this stereotype doesn't exist in our bubble, but there are certain aspects, certain portions of our bubble where they still believe in the stereotype.
Yeah, there are problems within our bubble. Where we have people that are racist. We have people who are gatekeepers. We have people who believe that girls are invading our geek space. The first novel was written by a woman. The first recognized author, regardless if it was a novel, the first author of that was recognized by name, mentioned by name, was a woman. The first science fiction author was a woman. You know who it is?
Mary Shelley?
Mary Shelley.
H.G. No, just kidding.
H.G. Wells is not the first female science fiction author.
But his
He was a bit of a
his
sissy, but
sister
Oh,
wrote a
jeez.
lot.
No, I'm kidding,
underwrote.
I'm kidding.
Now, I am supposed to mention that before I start talking about culture and stuff like that, that I should give a little bit of my background. I am, despite the color coding here, I am not white. I'm Hispanic. I'm a huge number of things. You see how fast you can count. I am Spanish, Norwegian, French, German, Welsh, Cuban, Venezuelan, Irish. So 9.
I got 8.
I think I put up 2 fingers at once, actually, so I think 8 is right.
Yeah, I'm 8 or 9. So Irish, English, French, German, Welsh, Cuban, Venezuelan, Puerto Rican. It just goes on. But, so I'm multi-ethnic. I don't fit in properly in every culture. I'm not enough Hispanic for the Hispanics. I'm not enough white for the whites. Who cares? I'm here for my family. Now, where were we?
Also, the actress who plays Amy, she has a video of her playing role-playing games with her kids, and she's talking about how she's relatively new to it. So she actually hasn't played role-playing games
Right.
before.
And here's another breaking of stereotypes. She really is a scientist.
She's a doctor.
Yeah, she's a neuroscientist.
Oh, I thought she had her PhD in mathematics.
No, that's M named girl.
I think I know what you're talking about, but
Yeah, that's the other one.
Are you talking about the girl in the green sweater?
No, the girl in the green sweater, Amy, is a neurologist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the other nerdy girl. That's not. There's 3 girls in this whole series.
The other blonde.
The one that's not on this.
the blonde girl who wears the glasses.
Yes.
Okay.
She's a mathematician.
Right. Okay. Right.
And a social psychologist. Something. She has a minor in something like that. Social psychology.
In other words, these people are breaking stereotypes just by being actors.
The dragon falls from the sky, crashing into the volcano. He's not dead. He crawls out, spreads his wings, and prepares to attack.
All right, Amy, it's your turn. We need one more hit. Finish him off.
Here we go. 15? It's a hit. The dragon collapses to the ground.
It's like a game show.
This is really not a fair representation of how Dungeons & Dragons is obviously played, because, it was a hit, now you have to roll damage, all that other good stuff. So it's just a scripted thing. They did later do, and hopefully Hawk will add this to it, a celebrity role-playing game where all these guys were trying to get into the celebrity role-playing game with Will Wheaton, Joe Manganiello, Star Trek captain, first Star Trek captain. William Shatner was there. Kareem
Abdul-Jabbar.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, yes. Pike was the first. He was in the very first episode.
Sorry.
He's now the star of Discovery. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was in there. And Will Smith was in there. And they were trying to get into the game, so they're doing that. It was kind of fun.
Well, I had their names mixed up. It was Bernadette. She's the one that's a mathematician.
Okay, that's the blonde.
Yeah.
So we would probably add that video in there later.
This is sad. I don't have to share it with you because we're talking about it. So I looked up the girls of the Big Bang Theory because the names were bugging me. And the first, actual listing underneath of it is, which girl from the Big Bang Theory do you think is the hottest?
Sheldon.
Yeah.
I'll ask my wife.
Sheldon.
That does not align it to the gender he has decided on.
Math genius?
Well, it does align with other choices he has made. Let's see here. I have our next topic, which is I thought you had this open already for me. Brief history of role-playing games, history, conference formats, research, and profession. How do I make it that this screen is the one being shared?
I think you have to move it over where it is. No,
specific window is the one that's been transferred. So.
Yeah, we got.
So you gotta move it to the other window.
To what window?
That one.
Because to this window?
Yeah.
So I have to open up a new tab and then pull it in there?
Yeah. Actually, you don't even have to open up a new tab. You just have to pull it over there.
Oh, so if I went like this?
Yeah, see?
There we go. You see it?
Nope. You see Google. Okay, give me 2 seconds with the mouse. I will show you this. Oh, yeah. There it is.
Alright.
So this is a summary.
I have smarts.
Fortunately, you're not going to see over there, and I need to see it more over here. Where'd my mouse go again? Left till it's right.
And then right.
Go to the left. It's
It's on the screen. There we go. Left until it's right, and then you got to go right. Left.
Go right until it's left. Okay. General Level course will provide brief summary information on all 5 major role-playing game formats based on drafts of the RPG model, which is the picture that the people in the audience can see, but you guys can't see right now. So let's go ahead and...
If you switch the screen, if it's set up to only go for the browser, wouldn't it still be the same?
I can pull this one over to there, right?
Yeah.
The one that shows us on camera? I don't need to see that part.
No, the other one that they need to see. Once it comes back.
The one I'm reading from, you don't need... I mean, you can see it because it'll be on here, but I need to read from it.
That's true.
Yeah, you don't.
So let's not hamstring me, you hams.
You gotta come over here and I gotta
clear that thing off.
Click it. No, you're over there. Click.
And now Alt F4.
F4 right there.
Boom.
Let's go. Now we can do that.
Okay.
So left you get right.
Right till you get left?
No, left you get there you go.
Annoy me till I... You annoy me? Okay. Dot.
Other way.
You sure? It's not going over.
There it is.
Alright, somebody fix that. Alright. Before we get going, I'm going to have a 2-minute break, and I will be right back. So if you can get that set up so you guys can actually see what's on the screen.
Want me to make that bigger for you?
And I think it's already where I need to be. I can fix that one back.
Okay. Can you read the course summary? The things in there?
I can.
Not really.
Yeah.
Well, you're seeing the pictures right now. That's what's important.
Can you see?
Not really.
Maybe if I brought my glasses. Because I'm not used to.
Well, also it's very blurry because the computer's resolution's bigger than the TV's resolution.
Role-playing game.
What are you looking at?
Oh, RPG.
RPG, role-playing game.
So do you do commission art?
eRPG, electronic RPG.
I can.
Okay, I've got some characters that I'm going to use them regularly as NPCs and pre-gens, and I really like them, and I've got a cool idea for a picture in mind, but I mean, I'm stealing images from the internet. I want dedicated pictures for them, so if you would, I'll bring this stuff by and show you sometime, but I would really like to have those just, so I have the extra pre-gens that people are like, oh, that looks good. For drop-ins and whatnot.
I'd need to get through finishing the stuff that I have.
Oh, I'm in no hurry.
Okay.
Plus, I need to get the money together to pay you for doing them. So I just kind of at some point in the future, when you have time, and I have money, so this may actually never happen.
I know all about not having money.
Or time.
What's
and if you have one, you don't have the other.
Yeah.
I'm used to having neither.
Yeah, you
I spend my time giving my bill collectors money.
Yeah, if anything, I believe Einstein was wrong. Time and space aren't the same thing. It's money and time are the same thing.
Oh, they're inverse.
Well,
and
time is money
either,
and I never have neither.
All right.
Yeah, it seems like I've been working an awful lot and having no money, which is kind of...
Mouse, please. Thank you. So you need 3 things to travel: time, money, and transportation. I could always have 2 out of 3, but never all 3 at once. Left until I'm right. Okay, there I am.
Eventually, he'll get it.
Oh,
it'll all be
you can't do that.
Even better.
All right, here we go. So you can't really read this course summary here. This is the model in a graphical image representation of how they all branch off onto each other.
Did you want to increase the size of that? Because I can fix that.
Yeah, these 2 are techies.
All right, techies, just fix it. Make it ready so I can play.
I got it.
Okay. I'm sorry. We're talking like this from Mike. Just let me hear me now. This is ASMR videos.
I'm in control now. Let's see.
We're gonna sit over here and do D&D at ASMR.
Okay.
Oh, I got that one. That means I die.
I had a player whose character died on my Wednesday game, and his response was, "Yay! I get to make a new character."
That's on your side. Now I need to fix this. What's that?
I can't see. It's not female appropriate.
Yeah. Because you don't exist, remember?
Yeah, I don't exist.
All right.
You're still there.
She was digitally constructed for the sake of this presentation.
Sorry. It's just.
So is Hawk laughing at us in the Twitch stream?
No, not yet.
It's probably sad because we don't know the things we're supposed to know.
Is that big enough?
The people
I mean,
who
we're
have
not going to
been
be able to read those boxes, but it's fine.
Yeah. You don't even try to read all those little boxes. The green screen stuff's going to make it hard for you.
Okay.
All right, and there's maybe some videos involved here as
Go the
well.
other way.
Nope, not. Keep going.
Almost there.
You probably got it.
We're on them.
Oh, you went too far back.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, you were almost there. Okay, it's not going across now. Okay, problem.
Yeah. Put my mouse where it's supposed to be.
If you'd like to help us with our technical difficulties, go to our Patreon website at patreon.com/RPG research. Thank you.
Oh no, I had it over there and then I lost it. Okay, there.
No,
It's
I
in the middle.
Don't lose it.
Another stereotype is that D&D players cannot follow the cursor.
No.
Cool.
All right, introductory level course will provide with a brief summary information on all 5 major role-playing game formats based on drafts of the RPG model. That's the image you see to the left. Electronic eRPG computer-based role-playing games. This is in alphabetical order, not the order that they were invented in. Why did you grab my mouse?
Because I was trying to. This looked like it went away. There we go.
Okay.
Now you got more space in it.
Where'd you leave them? There it is. Okay.
No, no.
All right. Electronic role-playing games, computer-based role-playing games, CRPG, are a subset of eRPG. There were non-digital role-playing games that were electronic-based, like recordings and stuff like that.
Dark Tower.
Correct.
That was great.
Which also counts under the concept of hybrids, because Dark Tower was
yeah.
a board game, role-playing game, hybrid role-playing game, such as the next category. So good choice to bring that one up.
You could starve to death on that one.
Live action role-playing games, LARPs. That is going to be the games where people actually get out of their chair and do things.
What? We do things?
Do things.
I actually
Not to be confused
exercise.
with the Wii. Wii is not a LARP.
No.
Yes.
Well, unless you're playing Zelda.
With the foot pads and the two joysticks.
Sorry.
Yeah, so that
I'm not
helps a
trying to be
lot
destructive
for
by
giving yourself into a hybrid thing, but believe it or not, Legend of Zelda is not a role-playing game. It doesn't fit all the categories to include character growth. He gets better equipment, but he doesn't get any better. He doesn't level up. He doesn't
That's true.
learn anything.
His abilities don't improve, just his stuff.
Yeah.
So depends
more
on
like
which version
Doom.
of Zelda you're working with.
99.9% of them. You may be able to come up with one counterexample, but
Both Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, he learns different moves.
he moves different songs, but that's not a different move.
No, I mean like actual.
Oh yeah, the spin attack.
And saying that he doesn't
That is
learn
the
new
technical
songs is basically minimizing bards.
Wow.
Look, I'll just stand here behind my wall of dead bards and argue on that. But anyways, so I actually got in an argument online about, well, it wasn't an argument, it was a discussion that first edition role players didn't like bards because
It took forever to become one.
well, that. But because we're terrible role players. And I came back that, excuse me, I've been playing since the beginning, and my favorite is the Bard.
Well, didn't they In Unearthed Arcana, they changed it, right? So you didn't like have to go through.
I'm currently playing a first edition Bard through the Dragon magazine.
Right.
That's where they changed. Unearthed Arcana did not change it. It kept it the same. Solo adventure books and modules. This is like choose your own adventures.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor, but just that is a good point. That is a brand.
Like Jello and Thermos.
Sorry, that was a Twitch reaction.
Some of them are as simple as the choose your own adventure books like this, or more complex where they're actually modules and you're playing Dungeons and Dragons by yourself. Do I put that back? We don't need to.
I was gonna see if there was a more complicated one here, but.
Well, sorcery should be right there. Jackson, sorcery.
That was
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't mean.
That's the first one. Steve Jackson's sorcery is a more complex version. You actually have a character sheet. You roll dice. You don't have your own 2 6-sided dice. You just flip a page and you get to see that there. And you had to memorize your spells. So, for example, which spell will you use? Rap, zip, yag, dud, or huff? And from those 3-letter codes, you had to actually remember which spell did what.
I vote Yag.
Yag. Okay, so
Yag
that's
sounds good.
428.
I just organized this show.
Sounds like a spell that an orc would cast.
Yag!
No, I'm not profiling orcs. Orcs are people too.
Can orcs spell?
Or I'm thinking of ogre magic.
Ogre magic?
Okay, you chose the perfect one. 428. Deduct 5 stamina points.
Stamina. I'm sorry. I'm horrible today.
Are you trying to learn something today, or just being? Are you
No,
a
I am
heckler
trying
in
to
the
learn.
audience?
I am trying to learn. I apologize.
Yeah. Deduct 5 stamina points. There is no such spell as this. Return to 26 and make another choice.
Nice job.
So it was an orc spell.
It was an orc spell. But the catch is orcs don't know how to spell, so.
So the last category is the first category, as in this is where it all started. Tabletop RPG, and again, single T. Course prerequisites. Most of these courses are for the education platform, provide instruction course topics.
Go to the left.
We're having too much fun with that.
Sorry, I'm not a judge, I can't pardon me.
You're gonna have to look higher up.
I've never been to Russia, so I can't be pardoned. Sorry.
Please. Johnny, we need content, otherwise we're just gonna keep making terrible jokes.
Yes, I'm afraid of that. Strain, don't do that to me.
You say that.
What?
You say that you're gonna do it.
As soon as my screen comes back, I will.
He's not. There's no way. Especially when you're taking the Kickstarter.
Okay.
You may do my magic again?
Don't do an orc spell.
That was not my fault.
Yes, go ahead and make that where you guys can follow along. Or actually, no, I will. We'll deal with it if we have pictures or video to do.
Okay.
All right. Terminology for role-playing game formats. While some prefer the term form, we use the term format to define the different manifestations of role-playing games. Since the RPG model for more information on all the formats and the relationships, we just talked about that a few seconds ago. Over the years since writing our first RPG research essay in 1983, we have gone back and forth between form and format when referring to direct manifestations of role-playing games, from tabletop to live action to tabby, and I'm out of the word. Role-playing games versus role-playing. For games, we generally stick with hyphenated version, role-playing, and role-playing gamer, all hyphenated words. For psychological references, we use the space version, role-play, role-playing, etc., unless there's a good documentation for using one word over the hyphenated recent psych literature, etc. I do believe in the first book it was stated as role-play. There are a number of arguments for using role-playing, one solid word, and role-playing in modern language, 2 words. But this has not yet come standardized enough for consistent use. If the trend continues, we'll remove the hyphen and use a single word if it becomes more pro forma standard. Examples, debating each variant. Lots of articles on that. RPG equals role-playing gaming. Hyphenated. The root term also synonymous with tabletop role-playing games originally, but different cohort populations in later years conflate with live-action role-playing, LARP, and various electronic role-playing games, eRPG, or computer-based role-playing game, CRPG. We use RPG either as the root of an all-inclusive term or just tabletop, depending on the sentence context. We list all 5 formats alphabetically. We just went through that. Variant suffixes. RPG, small s, role-playing games, noun plural. RPG-ER, small er, role-playing gamer, noun plural. RPG-ERS, role-playing gamers. RPGing, role-playing gaming, verb. Role-playing gaming. That's a great way to say things. RPG formats, 5 primary variants. E, electronic role-playing games. H, hybrid role-playing games. L, lrpg, or known as LARP, live-action role-playing gaming. Waiting patiently for me to have a screen to talk about. SABM, solo adventure books and modules. TRPG, tabletop role-playing games. So, who can list this thing that you probably heard me say 5 times? What are the 5 formats in alphabetical order?
Electronic role-playing games.
Mm-hmm.
A hybrid.
Okay.
LARP.
Live action role-playing games.
Solo adventure book modules.
Books or modules.
Book modules. And tabletop role-playing games.
How many T's in tabletop?
1.
All right.
Unless you're on Twitter, then there's 7.
No, I fell asleep on the keyboard.
No, my keys just really stuck.
eRPG, electronic role-playing games, all role-playing games in any kind of electronic format. If it uses electrical current in some form to play the game, it is likely falls under eRPG category unless it's a hybrid, like Dungeon, electronic board game, for example, more appropriately under HRP. Now, using a tablet for my character sheet doesn't change my tabletop role-playing game into an eRPG. Using an electronic map, borderline starts changing things a little bit.
I think it would be more a matter of if the electronic thing is somehow driving the game.
Mm-hmm.
If I have a map on my tablet, it doesn't change the actual format at all. But if the players are interacting with the map electronically,
yes,
I think then it would count. Like for instance, if I was talking to everybody, all the players on a message board, that's not electronic because we're talking through the internet. We're playing the tabletop style.
Well, that
Just
play
not
by
the same.
mail, play by email. That's play by post. Email versions of that's electronic role playing game. If you're playing,
but you're still doing. I mean, the electronic thing is really only you're just talking to each other.
Right.
It doesn't change.
It's no different than playing over Twitch.
Yeah.
Or over Jitsi, where we're in different places, but we're actually playing the tabletop role-playing game.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a good point there. What I was talking about that really blends it, when I was talking about a map and everything, was like if you're playing Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds, where it starts blurring the line a little bit there.
Yeah, because you have electronic tools then, so...
Okay, and I'm sure Hockey's thrown a sentence or two in there.
Nope.
All right.
Why is a hawk?
A hawk in flight.
That's fine. How else are they going to catch you?
They're not as quiet as owls, but they're pretty quiet when they're flying. Anyways, all computer variant RPGs are a subset of eRPG. eRPG allows to include non-CRPG electronic RPGs such as audio cassette-based role-playing games, 8-track selectable RPGs, phonographic RPGs, solid-state electronics RPGs rather than integrated computer circuits RPGs, etc. When we discovered that, hey, yeah, those things existed. Oh, yeah, I remember that. That had become a category. Hybrid role-playing games, a catch-all for all other variations that are either significantly overlapping the top 4 formats or mix other products with top 4 formats. Example, card games, board games, etc. A good example is Pathfinder card game. It is a hybrid card game role-playing game. Hybrid board game. I had here.
Oh gosh, we played it. Me, you, and your wife one day when we were supposed to have a big meeting and no one was.
Munchkin?
Not Munchkin. The other one where you start off as all good guys and you have one purpose, and then once the purpose is done, then you have to pick up the rule book and one person or 2 people become a bad guy. There's one that's specifically
Betrayal on the House of the Hill?
Yeah, and the dungeons.
Yeah,
because you can role play while you're doing it.
You definitely can role play while doing that. So here's an interesting and fairly recent hybrid that I think that all the cool kids will want to go to. Galaxy Edge is a Star Wars themed land coming into Disneyland Park in Anaheim, California this summer, and Disney World in Hollywood Studios in Orlando, Florida this winter. The star attraction is flying the Millennium Falcon, which has 6 visitors piloting the ship. Sounds a bit like Star Tours, but a difference in one significant way. Most simulators, including Star Tours, run a ride film. The vehicle knows how to move because it knows what's coming next in the movie. The Millennium Falcon ride, however, is rendered its action in real time, just like a video game. And you aren't just watching the action. The 6 guests go through the ride at the same time and each take a spot in the ship's stations. 2 people sitting in the front act as pilots, with 2 gunners and 2 engineers. You push buttons and use controls like it was a real ship, and your actions will impact what happens during the ride.
Shut up and take my money.
Is that what we played, except for that it wasn't on a platform that moved?
Yes.
Oh, God, that was so much
exactly
fun.
That is a hybrid. You're playing a role-playing game where you're playing all these parts, and you have these characters, but you're all piloting the ship together.
There was 4 of us.
So can we get a Kickstarter to get one of those for us?
There is a local
we
flight
could do some really good research with that.
There is a local flight simulator. There is a local one. It's just not on the platform.
No, it's not the Millennium Falcon. Okay.
But we did play the Millennium Falcon one. I wish it was in the thing that moved. That would have been so cool.
It wasn't actually the Millennium Falcon. That one was much closer to Star Trek than the Falcon.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And it was a generic science fiction crew, not a Star Trek license thing. Don't get somebody fired. LRPG, live role-playing game, or LARP, live action role-playing game. This is because we discriminate against dead people. Article mentions OED making LARPs rather than LARP. There's a WordPress game, hyphenates this is another reason for my suggestions using LRPG for the acronym of the noun live role-playing game, and then use LARP, live action role-play, for the activity itself. Should we make further distinction between LARP and LARPing and LARP, LARPG, live action role-playing game? Throw that G in there just because you feel like it. It might be arguable that live action role-playing game is somewhat or substantially different from the more gamified rule structure form. LARP training in professional settings like medical and executive settings can be live action role plays, but without the statistical numeration representation of a game. For example, I was a professional patient.
I've actually been a professional patient too.
We would work with things like moulage, which is special effects makeup to simulate wounds. And I would be found in a busted up car. You have to rescue me out of the car, do assessments on me, and I had to try not to tell people, hey, you don't look at that for the exit wound for the gunshot, or whatever the scenario was, because I knew the medical enough. At age of 9, I knew better than the trainees.
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was doing that for a long time. I was playing the role of a patient to give people live action training. My last time I did it, we're out in the woods, and I'm a hypothermia victim, and they literally had to cut my clothes off. and do everything they had to. They were like shocked. He said, I would do this. And my mother, who was teaching the class, says, then do it. Don't say what you would do. Do it. These people, some of them had never actually opened their kits. they stocked it, they put it, and says, yeah, I pull out the scissors. And pull out your scissors and cut. That's when they find out, I need new scissors. These are not appropriate for cutting pants off.
I've been patient in a professional setting.
You were involuntarily enrolled?
Yes.
I was gonna say what? Because
I have been patient in every professional setting.
I got hired a couple of seasons to do the one kind of like what you did, except for I didn't have special effects. We were all patients inside of a doctor's office, and we were giving CNA or the higher nursing, the ones that can actually write prescriptions.
Certified nursing assistants is lower than that.
No, not CNA. That's why I said I was wrong.
Nurse practitioner?
Nurse practitioner, yeah.
Yep. And they were just sitting there, and they had to guess, basically, and ask the appropriate questions, and couldn't do anything.
Well, I think the big thing is nobody wants to say LARPG.
No.
Well, some people might. I mean, it sounds like a Klingon word, actually.
It might be argued that a live-action role-playing game is somewhat substantially different from the more gamified role-structured form. LARP training professional settings like medical and executive settings can be live-action role-plays. Military does it all the time, but without statistical numerical representation of the game. Why LARPig and lrpg have specific rules and numerical information appropriate to the game. For now, we'll use LARP interchangeably between the its variants, and it is possible in future literature to make a clear distinction with something like LARP versus LARPG versus LRPG, keeping to the 4-letter acronym limit in the primary tier variants and holding on to one 5-letter plus acronym for subsets further down the chain. Thoughts on this? Okay, we're not going to talk more about the lettering stuff.
Actually, I do remember while working at an electronics store, we had a district manager come down and try to do role-playing with us, where he was trying to teach us how to be better at customer service. And he was going to be the salesperson, and someone else was going to be the customer, and he made the mistake of allowing me to be the customer.
Did you make him cry?
I shut him down.
I want it in green. It has to come in green.
Oh no! Because he had never been, he hadn't been a salesperson for a very long time. He wasn't aware of some of the nuances of dealing with customers. So, for example, when he came up and said, "How are you doing today? How can I help you?" I asked him the same question just about every single one of the salespersons had to deal with on a daily basis. Where's the bathroom? And he didn't know. Yeah.
Well, he's a guest. He's never been in this place for real life.
Actually, a lot from what even like the regular people, they use that term to get the salespeople to get away from them. They don't want to be bothered.
Yeah.
But he didn't want to see it that way. He was trying to basically do role playing with yes men, and I wasn't going to be his yes man.
Where's the bathroom?
So
that's a valuable point, though. I mean, if you're using role playing for training, you need to simulate what's really going to happen, not what you want to happen, but what will happen.
Yeah. And then when we proceeded further, I came back and actually acted like a customer, except I was very specific. I was going to be a customer. The stall that I did gave me enough time to figure out my character. My character was, I'm a college student. The college nearby is the Art Institute for Lauderdale. I'm going to be an animation student, which the animation students do come into the store and they're looking for something specific. So I asked them, I need to get Photoshop Professional Edition out. And he was trying to downsell me without realizing two elements. And he then realized that, no, this customer knows more about the products than he does.
Right.
So he just started shutting himself down because he decided that he wanted to get the sale. He didn't want to rely on his people. And he just fumbled and fumbled and fumbled. Had my friend Jose done all of that, he probably would have gotten an upsell on a Wacom tablet and other things, because I was thinking in my mind, I'm going to be pulling from my student loans to give myself a couple of additional $1,000 for school supplies.
Right.
Instead, he ended up insulting the customer, and me just like, no, I don't want anything. Get me another salesperson. I just need professional, Photoshop Professional Edition. But he wanted yes man.
So what is the difference, though, between training in a scenario like that, where I almost gave the answer away. So the training one and an actual LARP?
The randomization. Oh wait, well, yeah. I don't know. I guess. See, I've never really done LARPs before, so.
Okay, so and we give an example of LARPs.
Well, one's for fun, and the other one's more.
You can have fun in all of them.
I
had a lot of fun in that one.
Okay, so in a LARP, you have a character that's distinct from you. You are physically playing that character in a live action role playing, but that character is distinct from you. In his scenario, he just described himself.
Yeah, I did.
So you even have character sheets.
Mm-hmm.
So because the referee, the GM can ask to see your character sheets. Can you really do that? LARPs also have many variants. There are combat LARPs, non-combat LARPs. There are costumed LARPs, non-costume LARPs. Some LARPs don't have a lot of physical activity in them, but they are live action role playing. Murder mystery LARP.
Murder mystery dinner parties are LARPs.
Yeah.
Right. Except without too much of the character sheet there, though, that's getting a little variance.
Usually you have a character sheet in those. I've always had a character sheet.
Or something that at least describes it.
Yeah, you have something like
I think it depends on how big
and
the
what you
group,
have.
because you have those big, huge fundraiser things where there's 100 people in the room. Not everyone's going to have a character sheet there.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things. You have a distinctive character, and that character has growth. You play long enough, you get more abilities, you get higher standings and things like that. The way one game plays may be, okay, we're going to go through the dungeon, and when we get to the monster, instead of fighting the monster, we're going to play a little shuttleboard. That's actually true dungeon at Gen Con and some other places that do that started Gen Con. Vampire the Masquerade will do rock, paper, scissors.
Mm-hmm.
While Amp Guard will beat the heck out of you with a foam weapon. You lose by getting hit. And you like, I got a leg, I can't have to hobble down on the leg. So there's actual combat involved in that. Not a lot of randomization.
Yeah.
But then we have things like that are similar, like the Society of Creative Acronym, which is a reenactment group and is not a live action role playing. You do have characters, but you don't have statistics and growth. You are not going to be playing scenarios most of the time. Your scenario is we beat people. You on that side, you on that side, go to the corner in the center and kill each other with sticks. Of course, they will tell you that the goal for Amp Guard and for Society of Creative Acronym is we want to kill our friends, not injure them.
Good message.
Yeah. Well, it's relevant. We have to be as safe as possible when we're pretending to murder each other. Solo adventure books and modules, SRPG or SABM. Solo adventure books and modules, SAB/SAM. Those are the things argument. I want to stick with SABM, solo adventure books / modules. It is critical that all our literature uses the correct acronym, etc. We cannot use CYOA or the phrase choose your own adventure because it's trademark unless we're referring to the actual thing.
Yep.
Here's why. Specifically, returning the product not owned by ChooseCo, who owns Choose Your Own Adventure, there is a $25 million lawsuit, ChooseCo versus Netflix, for confusion about the format. Does anybody know about this?
Yeah.
A little bit. That's when they did. The first one was Minecraft.
Nope, that's not the lawsuit.
Wasn't it Black Mirror?
No, that's the first adult.
Yeah,
but
that's not where the lawsuit's being involved. It is. What he's talking about is right. It is Black Mirror. The episode is Bandersnatch.
Yes.
Yes.
He is creating and he says the words, "I'm making a choose your own adventure game." and it is more adult than they want to be, and they depict things like committing suicide and violence. Again,
Well, they did. I'm surprised they aren't using the other ones too, then, because I do believe they used at first when they were describing it to kids or adults.
As Choose Your Own Adventure?
Yeah.
I can't talk about those because I don't know anything about that part of the scenario.
Yeah, because they had three kids choose your own adventure playthroughs with, I can only think of Minecraft and I think it was Cars. It was a Disney.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't believe they got the to do the Disney one. That's to tell you the truth.
Well, that's probably pending.
Or they got permission to use it.
They also had a lawsuit.
Well,
years
they were
ago
comparing, so maybe it wasn't a.
Well, they got a lawsuit multiple years ago over a car company on one of their commercials. I want to say it's Toyota, but don't quote me on that. Because they used Choose Your Adventure as like the slogan, basically, of the commercial.
Oh, I think I remember that commercial, yeah. I can't remember what car maker it was, but yeah.
I think that was Toyota.
Toyota?
That was one of them.
It was
All right.
one of the two.
Don't sue us, just look it up yourself.
Yeah.
All right. Any product in standard book-bound format that provides branching options as you read and allows for more than one ending results based on the reader's choices, not a single ending. CYOA, Choose Your Own Adventure. This includes book format products like ChooseCo's Choose Your Own Adventure, trademark, which we abbreviated as CYOA, not cover your own assets, which only use the book and no character sheet maps, randomization agents, etc. CYOA generally are not really role-playing games, rather they're more like interactive fiction, IF, with basic branching but no real character development, customization, randomization, or other distinctive elements of role-playing games. But they are close cousin and inspired as they include this category mostly because of the other solo adventure books and solo adventure module variants. True role-playing game variants, SAB can also include other book form products like Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, Ice Middle-earth Quest, Tolkien Quest, etc., which include character sheets that can be customized or at least grow and change considerably based on the reader's users' decisions, including randomization agents, maps, etc., allow far more variant results than just simple IF branching options of a CYOA and related books. Potentially, we want to create a clearer differentiation term and acronym between these variants, open to suggestions. Maybe when I used the 2004-2007, just calling it solo role-playing game for the primary format. As again, I don't want to bog down the theoretical things. Solo adventure modules.
Yeah, you're on the other screen too.
Left until I'm right?
Yeah.
All right.
You clicked on it.
Don't want to click on it. There, now I gotta find the other one. All right. Sure, cool book products. Solo Adventure module. Less complication, confusion with this format. Solo Adventure module. These published classic tabletop role-playing module form, thin in page count, typically 8 to 10 or so, etc. There might be some hardcover or larger versions available, but don't know how much of those actually exist. So let me show you one of those.
What do you need?
They're over here.
Okay.
Here we go. Alright. Adventure for companion levels characters. Dungeons & Dragons companion level solo adventure mystery on Snow Pearls. And then we have the expert set module, Gem and the staff 101 companion modules for levels 8. Let's see if I find an example in here. This one does have a map book in it. And yeah, to cover up your own maps, stuff like that. But this is just a straightforward look at the maps when it's your turn. You have your character sheet. What it doesn't have is the ones that where you have to find out the solutions and stuff. You use a yellow marker, and then you can read it. Unfortunately, those are one-shot use things and not the greatest ideas. This one here is a great idea. It's all red, and you can't read it without the magic viewer, which I don't know if Hawk has one right here immediately to show. But you put the red screen over it, and you can see where things are. It's hidden code that way.
Oh, you mean that thing they tried to do for people with dyslexia that doesn't actually have any evidence?
Well, I don't know if that red screen was used for dyslexia, but
yeah,
it was used for this purpose here, and that's what we're talking about.
There is a common belief that if you put colored sheets or colored glasses on someone who's dyslexic, they're less likely to make errors.
Was that just a random guess out of something? I don't know.
I don't know. It didn't have any validity, and they spent a good year with me trying to find the right color.
So what you're saying is they were spending too much time with rose-tinted glasses on.
Well, they were spending too much time putting rose-tinted glasses on me.
Alright, so those are the different formats.
I'm sure there's some kind of explanation in physics that was obviously wrong, but...
There is, with people who... Okay, so where the evidence is founded is individuals with dyslexia where the actual letters on the page move, which is actually not dyslexia. But it produces itself as dyslexia because people often write backwards when they do that. It can either slow down the movement of letters or aid in them staying still. But that didn't do anything for me. And there's no real evidence. Trying to tell a story.
Yeah, well, that's not what I'm going to... overview of RPGs. No, I'm afraid to click on anything because I don't want to break anything.
Oh, just click on it.
There's another stereotype that's being broken, and not all role players know how to fix computers.
Yeah.
That's so true. And just because I know how to use my device and can teach you how to do a couple of tricks does not mean that you can call me when you're blue screening of death. Had that happen a few times.
I can operate my computer. I cannot repair my computer.
I can operate your computer. I can tell you how to click a button.
All right, let's do some quizzing. And by the time I get through the quiz, I will have figured out maybe how to get to the other stuff. If I'm allowed to get to the quiz, I should be able to.
History summary quiz.
We can see it.
19 attempts.
Yeah, so we're going to attempt a quiz. We're going to do it as a group. Don't memorize it. Of course, memorize it, but you know what I mean.
No.
All right. What year was the first war game to offer optional rules for magic and fantastical creatures published?
I know this one.
When?
It's E.
1971?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next page.
Down.
Right there.
I can't see anymore. My screen keeps going blank.
No.
Who co-authored the first published war game to offer optional rules?
H.G. Wells.
It's not on there yet. You have to wait until you see all the answers.
Well, you actually should listen to the entire question.
Okay, that's not right.
Yeah,
Never mind.
Yeah, who co-authored the first published war game to offer optional rules for magic and fantastic creatures, who was also one of the co-authors of the world's first role-playing game?
Gary Gygax. F.
I think it's
It's
I
F.
think she knows what's up.
Yeah.
You're living in a
I'm going to put F for you guys. Jeff Perrin, by the way, was the co-author for Chainmail.
Oh, okay. Oh, get that.
Oh, so we're wrong?
No.
Not saying you're right or wrong. We're taking the answers you guys give me.
We're wrong.
No.
When was the first role-playing game officially published?
84.
74.
74.
74.
I need an answer.
74.
1974.
Okay.
Final answer.
84 is not
I know.
What year was the first mainstream miniature war game book published?
bad.
1930 F.
F.
1913.
Everybody
Yeah.
agrees? Okay.
Yeah. H.G. Wells. Little Wars.
D&D 5th edition was first published in
2000, and so you can do the first two numbers.
2-0. Is it 16?
No.
15? Oh, it's
I thought it was like.
16.
I thought,
I'm gonna say 2015, but
15. Let's go with 15.
15? We're going with 15?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that was when they released it for playtesting.
no.
oh, there you go.
Who are the two best-known main co-creators of the first official published role-playing game?
Gary Gygax.
Select one or more. Ivan Van Norman, Mike
Dave
Merles.
Arneson.
Dave Arneson and Gary Gygax.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, he did. Much later.
All right. Who was the author of the first book on war games that was published for the general public and used miniatures?
That one.
H.G. Wells.
H.G.
H.G. Wells.
Okay, H.G. Wells.
H.G. Wells.
According to the lecture, between 2008 and 2016, video game sales were overall going
Down.
I wasn't there.
Southwest. No, that would be Southeast.
What's the name of the company that published world's first role-playing game? Full name.
Studies rules.
What?
Tactical studies rules.
Technical studies.
Yeah.
TSR?
Yeah.
I always thought that stood for the Strategic Review.
There was a magazine called the Strategic Review.
That's probably why I thought
That's
that.
one.
D&D 3.5 was first published in
Ooh. 2000.
Violation of the contract. Oh, sorry.
It's definitely 2000.
Okay. So it was alive.
I want to say 2000.
I'm just gonna take a look at this.
Four?
2004.
Yeah, let's go with
2004.
4.
Guys, the vote 2004?
I like it.
Even if I know the answer, I'm not telling you guys.
I can tell.
In what year, shortly after Apple Steve Jobs had a similar experience, was Gary Gygax forced out of the company he had helped create and had recently saved from financial dissolution? Full 4-digit year.
Is that 88?
I thought it was in the 90s. I thought it was like 91. Is it 88?
You tell me what year you want. I'm going to go 19 what?
When did we learn this? 'Cause I don't think I was there.
You might not have been.
Maybe it was 89.
Is that what we're going to go with? I mean, a wrong answer just gets us the right answer later.
No, because Steve
think
Jobs
it
was
was-
forced out later.
I think it's 91. I think it was right before I was born.
We'll-
I think I
we'll go with
remember
91.
thinking that.
91, okay. Role-playing games evolved from select all that apply, select one or more. Board games like Monopoly, Checkers, Chess, and Game of Life. Tradable collectible card games like Magic the Gathering.
No.
Card games like War and Poker. Computer games. Board game war games.
E.
Role-play, drama, therapy, or miniature war games.
So miniature war games,
We need
war
two.
games, and board games like Monopoly, Checkers,
Well,
Chess,
we
and the
only
Game
have
of
two.
Life. Is it
I
2?
don't think A counts.
Oh,
We only
it's
have
2.
I don't
Okay.
think
Two.
it's.
You
I
can
don't
tell
think
with the little 2 marker right there.
Oh, okay. Dang. Because I would. It's probably war game or miniature war game.
Sometimes left can tell I'm right again.
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes they give you hints in the way the question's formatted. All right. According to the lecture, since 2009, tabletop role-playing game sales have been steadily going up.
Northeast.
What did the previous one say? The other one about games.
Video games.
sales.
Oh, okay.
That's a recycle bin. You don't want
I am waiting for my screen so I can.
Go to the left.
It didn't get right.
Go to the left.
Stop resetting on me.
I think when it goes black, if you just not touch the mouse.
I don't.
Okay.
Actual role-playing games, not hybrids or close cousins, are available in what format? Select all that apply for. Notice that we did not. We took out hybrids off there. So
Solo adventure books and
7.
modules.
La.
A, D, E, and F.
Yeah.
everybody agree.
Yeah.
Solo adventure books and modules, live action, tabletop, and computer. Next.
That's what.
That's not
2000.
2000.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Life for that one.
God, you're young.
I know.
Alright.
I feel old too.
What was the name of the first book on war games that was published for the general public and used miniatures?
Little Wars.
Little
Way
Wars.
more interesting.
Kriegspiel Game of War was not for the general public. But that was a very important one. What's the name of the first published role-playing game?
Dungeons and Dragons.
D&D.
It was the original role-playing game. That's what they called it.
Ooh.
Dungeons and Dragons. Okay.
Generic Europe.
What? Original role-playing game.
Might and magic.
Mazes and Monsters.
Deities and demigods.
Ooh, Call of Cthulhu.
I'm not taking that call.
You know what was worse? It was a collect call.
I think we all paid for that one.
The dad jokes.
The initial publication of Advanced Dungeons & Dragons first edition was...
You were alive.
77?
19-something.
Yeah. Okay, so D&D was 70...
No, actually,
1984?
No, regular Dungeons and Dragons. First one was what year?
Not basic Dungeons. Oh.
Yeah, what we
74.
74. That's what I thought. Okay. 74, so it has to be... I think it was 2 years, or was it 3? 77?
I'm going to say 77.
Die.
Let's go with 77. See what happens.
Also,
Worst that can happen is if we get a 0.
I don't think we get. I think we got the Dungeons and Dragons question right.
I think we have at least 4 points.
I sure hope so.
I'm not touching it.
19.
Who were some famous science fiction, fantasy, horror, and other famous authors whose works directly influenced and many directly included in the first RPG and its core supplements? Hint, there were 7.
So 7 of these are the right. So we have Jules.
So,
I'm going to name it. You say yes or no. Jules Verne.
Yes.
I thought he was a no in our lecture.
J.K. Rowling.
No.
Of course.
Robert E. Howard.
Yes.
Maybe. Yes.
George
No.
R.R.
No.
Martin.
No.
Michael Moorcock.
Yep.
Yep.
R.A. Salvador.
Nope.
No.
H.G. Wells.
Yes.
Yes.
Terry Pratchett.
No.
No.
Stephen R. Donaldson.
No.
J.R.R. Tolkien.
Yes.
Okay.
George MacDonald.
I'm not familiar with him.
No.
It doesn't sound right.
Edgar Allan Poe.
Yes.
Yes.
Terry Brooks.
No.
No.
H.P. Lovecraft.
Yes.
That's,
Edgar Rice Burroughs.
Yes.
Yes.
How many numbers do we have?
Now we have 8.
So one of those is wrong, and
so
I know which
probably
one.
Poe,
George MacDonald?
actually.
No, Poe is definitely on that
Poe.
list.
You sure?
Yes.
I don't think he was.
He was definitely on that list.
I don't think he was.
I just read the list like a day and a half ago.
I think it may be Michael.
Okay, raise your hand if you want
Kirk was huge.
H.P. Lovecraft. If you're saying H.P. Lovecraft is the correct answer and needs to stay, raise your hand. 3 out of
I
4.
have no idea, so I don't think I should.
So we're going Edgar Allan Poe.
I know that.
You're voting for both of them to be removed?
Oh,
Or
no,
stay?
be removed.
To stay?
To stay. Wait.
I'm telling you, it's either Edgar Allan Poe or H.P. Lovecraft. I'm telling you, it's one of those two needs to come off there.
Are you sure it's not George
Did
MacDonald?
I choose
What did he
Edgar Allan
write?
Poe? We don't even have George MacDonald as our choice.
Oh, it is. Okay.
So he's not. I'm going
So-
to Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah,
It's fine. Edgar Allan Poe.
Edgar Allan Poe stays?
Because Cthulhu was in the original.
Raise your hand if Edgar Allan Poe stays. Okay, I'm taking Edgar Allan Poe off.
Okay. He influenced Lovecraft, but he's not credited with influencing Dungeons and Dragons.
Very interesting distinction. Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd edition was published in what year?
I want to say 1984.
No.
No.
Much earlier.
1979, 77?
We said 77 for the first edition. So
I want to say 88.
88?
Or maybe 87.
87 then. Let's go with the low number.
Yeah, 87.
87, okay. We'll see how close we got.
Probably earlier, but that's the first time I'm playing it.
Due to a combination of competing previous open license and resistance to gaming style change in the new version, which D&D version effectively bombed...
edition.
We don't talk about it.
we just did.
The game that shall not be named.
It's like Fight Club, except we just told you the entire...
No, people like to go to Fight Club.
No, but you're supposed to talk about Fight Club. That's the problem.
Well, the thing is, people were supposed to talk about Fight Club, but they're supposed to act like they don't talk about Fight Club. No one's supposed to be talking about 4th edition.
We just did.
It's the game who must not be named. We should call it that from now on.
We're almost done. Okay. What was the name of the first published war game to offer optional rules for
Chainmail.
Magic and Fantasy?
Plate mail.
It's not Stratego. Chainmail.
Plate mail.
I don't see plate mail as a choice.
Chainmail is B.
Okay, I'm looking for plate mail. Somebody kept calling for plate mail.
I got it. Because it has more AC than chainmail.
I don't think AC was invented yet.
Company that purchased the world's first role-playing game, or RPG, was first bought out...
Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah.
Wizards
company
of the
that
Coast.
published the world's first role-playing game, RPG, was first
Wizards
bought
of
out
the
in
Coast.
1997.
Wizards of the Coast. Your what?
My grandma worked there.
Really?
Yeah. I got it.
You need to put a
I
space
got it.
between Wizards and Off.
A plethora of Pokemon cards.
I'm hoping all caps is
Like
not going to be
I
a problem.
will, of course.
I'm not changing
A friend of
anything.
mine from high school drew for the Pokemon cartoon.
Awesome.
According to
Are
the
you serious?
lecture, it was estimated that the mid-1980s, there were at least anywhere between 2 to 5 wet players of D&D alone.
Million.
Oh. That's what type of million.
Million!
Watch, you got them all wrong because of cap locks.
Why did you ask him in caps lock?
All right.
Golden Age.
Read it first.
We did.
I'm going left till I get right.
You gotta go further left. Keep going, okay?
I see it right here.
Then use it.
Shut up. The positive side, in the U.S., the 1980s were known as the blank of
Golden
Age.
Age.
Golden Girls.
Betty White.
Oh, man. You want to play the Betty White role-playing game?
No, I'm just
Yes, I
imagining
do.
B. Arthur as a paladin.
That's what you guys say.
But also remember, that people say it's the best thing since white bread.
Betty White is
No, best thing since
Betty
sliced
White.
bread.
Yeah.
And Betty White is older than sliced bread. So what's the best thing since Betty White? Sliced bread. D&D 4th edition was published when?
Is that 2008? I don't know. I'm totally guessing. So if you guys have a way better
I
answer,
blocked
Yeah,
it.
I think it's 2008.
I think
Yeah, I
you're
think
right,
it's
too.
2000.
I think it was
Yeah.
right before I graduated
I
high
think
school.
it's 2000.
Finish the attempt.
Okay, here we
Oh,
go.
what did
Are
we
you
get?
scared?
What did we get?
Wait, we have to guess first. Out of 27 questions, 26 questions?
26 questions.
I think we got 24.
Well, I think we got all the year questions probably going to mess with. I'm going to say 19.
Anybody else?
21.
I'm horrible with numbers, so I'm not going to guess.
1! No.
Answer saved.
Status. Answer save, 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 save,
That was
save,
very
save,
anticlimactic.
save.
And finish.
You will find out your answers in 2 to 3 business days.
Submit.
Drum roll, please. Once you submit, no longer able to change your answers for this attempt. Yes, submit all and finish. Boom!
Ooh, I think it's at 18. Wait.
Oh, jeez.
21.
84%.
84%.
20,
Wait, how do we
21.8.
We got 84%. March 21.86. I don't know why. We'll see. Well, because some of them had multiple choice.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Year first war game to offer optional rules for magic and fantastic creatures published, 1971.
Yay!
Who was the co-author of the first published war game to offer optional rules for magic and fantastic creatures? Who also one of the co-authors of the world's first role-playing game? The correct answer is Gary Gygax.
Yay!
When was the first role-playing game officially published? 1974.
Yay!
What year was the first mainstream miniature war game book published? 1913.
Yay!
D&D 5th edition was published in 2014.
Ah, crap.
Okay.
And you totally knew that because you were smiling from your ears.
Yes. Jay, look. You got to learn by making mistakes. The two best-known main co-authors of the first officially published role-playing game, Dave Arneson and Gary Gygax. So you're correct. Who was the author of the first book on war games published to the general public used miniatures? H.G. Wells.
Yay!
Down is the correct answer. According to the lecture, between 2008 and 2016, video game sales were overall going down.
Yay!
What was the name of the company that published the world's first role-playing game? Tactical Studies Rules. TSR was business from 1973 to 1997. Creators of the first role-playing game acquired by Wizards of the Coast, and later WotC was acquired by Hasbro.
Yay!
D&D 3.5 was published in 2003.
Are we going to be off by one year? Every single one?
Well, what? Yeah, we went. Yeah,
there's one that I'm pretty sure we got.
Okay.
Your Apple Steve Jobs 1991 was 1986. He took it out early. He was taken out the same year I graduated high school. So that's all you have to remember is that I graduated high school the same year Gary Gygax lost his job.
So it's your fault.
Yep, that's exactly right.
That's why you look like
I was the female lawyer
1968.
that in 1968 just 1986.
No, 68 was when you were born. So if I remember that.
I was born in 1967.
Well, that's not 18
I'm not
years.
gonna be able to remember that.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, it will be on the quiz what year I was born. The best dungeon master since Matt Mercer was born when? All right.
October 17th, 1970.
1992?
1982.
Role-playing games evolved from select all that apply, board game war games, and miniature war games.
Yay!
What's the difference?
One's a board game, the other one uses miniatures. Seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
It really is.
One of them
But I mean,
has
if you look at a board
squares.
game a board game version usually uses chits and not 3D miniatures.
One uses squares and the other one uses a ruler.
Yeah. According to Lecture 2009, tabletop role-playing games have been steady going up.
Yay!
Actual role-playing games, not hybrids or closed cousins, are available in formats: solo, live-action, tabletop, and computer. Yay! Third edition was published in 2000. We got that one right. Yay!
Told you. Not what I knew.
What was the name of the first book on war games that was published for the general public using miniatures? Yes, Little Wars.
Yay!
What was the name of the first published role-playing game? Dungeons and Dragons.
Yay!
I didn't see that one coming. Initial publication of Advanced Dungeons and Dragons first edition was 1977.
We got a year one.
We got the 2000 one, too.
Jules Verne was the one that you should not have accepted.
I knew it was Edgar Allan
Well, that's not
Poe.
fair, because it wasn't even on the...
And you
I said, I said, and I was wrong. I can be wrong.
Well, you
I was
scrolled
saying
down
that Jules
so
Verne
that
was wrong and no one wanted to listen. Yeah,
All right, so Jules Verne was wrong. Robert E. Howard, author of Conan the Barbarian, Hibernian Mythos, including the supplement Gods, Demigods, and Heroes. Michael Moorcock, author of the Eternal Champions variants, most notable Elric and Melbourne Stonebringer series, which had to be removed due to copyright license issues, later versions of the world's first RPG. Also, Black Razor from White Plume Mountain was the Elric Melbourne Stormbringer sword. H.G. Wells, of course. J.R.R. Tolkien, due to copyright conflicts, hobbits were changed to halflings, Ents to trance, Balrog to Balor, etc. H.P. Lovecraft, author of Call of Cthulhu. Edgar Rice Burroughs. I'm confused. Count the ones we have here.
We have 6 correct.
1,
You're
2,
missing Edgar Allan
3,
Poe.
4, 5, 6. Yeah, I guess it was Edgar Allan Poe.
Told you.
Yeah, Edgar Allan Poe right there.
Yep, that was Edgar Allan Poe.
So when he was giving us the ones that we don't want.
And now that I think about it, that's when I got wrong last time. When I did this. Okay, Dungeons and Dragons 2nd edition was published in 1989, not 87.
Okay.
Due to combination competing.
Hold on a second. I was playing 2nd edition in 87. That can't be right.
Google it.
Get out your fingertips.
No, I'm serious. I was playing that before 89.
2nd edition, correct?
Yeah.
So, looking for a 2nd edition rule book.
Why would it tell me that? When was D&D 2E published? D&D 4th edition was released in 2008. Wow, thank you.
Just won't
That's
let it go,
so
will
useful.
you?
It says meanwhile, 2nd edition of AD&D was published in 1989.
I could be wrong, but I was sure I was playing 2nd edition before.
I think you were having a memory problem, old man.
Ooh.
Coming from the 50-year-old.
Yeah, Methuselah.
In my day and age, I can remember the end of that joke.
And I was thankful.
Look, all I'm going to say is, though, there's some very dated jokes.
I could be wrong, but I was sure I was playing 2nd edition. Because that was a year ago.
I prefer prunes to dates. Alright. He finally got it.
Oh, man.
Watching his face is what made me laugh so hard.
You can take that in a lot of directions.
There's only one direction to go.
We're learning, folks.
That one took me a minute.
We're learning.
Yeah, how to make dad jokes.
Due to a combination of competing previous open license and resistance to the gaming style change in the new version, which D&D version effectively bombed the worst 4th edition.
Yay!
Named the first published board game for rules, Magic Fantastic Creatures, Chainmail.
Yay!
Company published the world's first role-playing game. Was bought out by Wizards of the Coast.
Yay!
According to the lecture, estimated that in the mid-1980s there was at least anywhere from 2 to 5 million players.
Yay!
And the positive side, the U.S. 1980s were known as the golden age of tabletop role-playing games because we played with actual gold dice.
Really expensive.
I have a gold 6-sider.
And our miniatures were actually short people that we contracted out.
Ooh. We're going to get sued. D&D 4th edition was published in 2008. We got that one right.
Yay! Hey, that's all of them. Yay!
That's it.
We need to take a clip of all of us unenthusiastically saying, "Yay!"
Wait, that was unenthusiastic. Didn't know that.
Just use that in like any time we need a thing. Just be like,
doing it like every 5 minutes in Heroes of the Mist.
With like a soundboard.
Except when Moisha talk, it'd be yay! Oh, yay!
Just have a soundboard we can just press a button and have it more.
Hawk needs a soundboard.
So bad.
Let's see here.
He just has all
Except when John talks. Because then it
all
would be
of his-
pecking. Hawk was really getting into that too.
That hurt.
Wait until later on in the story. He really, there's some characters that he does that are like.
Here's the next one. We're going to talk about controversies, folks. Next quiz coming up right now.
Wait, I wasn't here for this one either.
Yeah, but I think you'll do okay.
Don't worry, it was controversial.
In 1988, a famous primetime investigative journalist with a signature large mustache that at the time set the record for the most watched 2-hour TV documentary with a primetime expose broadcast on NBC titled 5 words.
No punctuation, no commas, and no apostrophes.
What is that one?
No idea.
I can see it. I can see him doing it. I can hear him doing it in my head.
I don't remember the title though.
Yeah, I'm even blanking on that right now, and I did mention it in my class.
I know the journalist's name.
That's what was the question was.
Yeah,
Is his
so
name 5 words?
it was
No.
Geraldo Rivera. The name of the show was 60 Minutes. Am I
I
supposed
think Dungeons and Dragons something.
Bothered about it?
to? No.
No,
That's 5.
I know, but no, it was like,
Oh, yeah, I guess the and counts as
was it like Dungeons and Dragons Satanic Cult?
Or
What?
man.
All right, so we all agree we don't know the answer to this one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, let's-
Reasons.
So I'm going to go ahead and put in.
Just type duh.
Yeah.
Reasons.
Wrong answer. I'm going to misspell it wrong.
There
Alright.
we go. Wrong answer.
And we're just going to pretend that was on purpose.
It was.
Yeah, exactly. See, he gets it.
Absolutely.
No one gets it. Oh,
At least we have to spell the wrong answer correctly, right?
no.
All right, 1980s were known as the golden age of tabletop RPGs,
Satanic.
but also previously known as the Satanic Panic.
So named because it rhymes.
I was more for the devil panic.
This includes claims of dangers from popular music, movies, television shows, video games, and role-playing games, causing homicide, suicide, antisocial behavior, violence, and/or being led into a cult.
Come join my cult.
Yay.
This organization trained police station personnel to watch out for the dangers and the safe handling of role-playing gaming paraphernalia. The organization successfully convinced hundreds, maybe thousands of schools, prisons, and others to ban role-playing games. BADD ceased to exist when the founder died of lung cancer in 1997. But there were still many locations continuing their policies regarding role-playing games, including many states and federal prisons and penitentiaries. This organization abbreviated was BADD, which stood for...
Bothered about.
Dungeons and Dragons.
You want to pack.
Very nice.
No, it's the Bible method. Of seeking you shall find.
We apologize to our subscribers.
Well, they paid for this.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
According to the lecture, pay us more, my jokes get better.
No, they won't. That's a trap.
It's Rob!
No, I'm hungry. It's a tapest. According to the lecture, until the mid-1980s, D&D was blank. Other than a few outlier religious groups, the general public and media did not have any associated negative representation of role-playing games and RPGs as illustrated in Steven Spielberg movies.
The Golden Age.
Just a game.
Just a game.
Oh.
D&D was just a game. It had no special connotations or
It was
We
just a
literally read
game.
this verbatim earlier.
Wow.
It
No,
was
John read
portrayed
it. We
as
listened
just
to
a
it.
game.
They barely listened. All right. Why RPG sales were booming in the 1980s in the U.S., Canada, and elsewhere. On the negative side, this decade was also experiencing backlash against a lot of popular culture. This period is often called two words.
Satanic
Either
panic?
phrase will be accepted.
Probably moral panic. Because we already said satanic.
Well, yeah, but see, he says 2 words, either phrase will be accepted.
Yeah,
so it's either satanic
Okay,
panic
well.
Panic
or
is
moral
P-A-N-I-C?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like at the disco?
Panic at the disco.
It wasn't a picnic.
No, it was a panic.
According to the lecture, detractors had a lengthy list of things that D&D/RPGs will make you do, like dance the Macarena. Try matching. Try matching those sentences below. Drag words from the bottom to the correct blank spots.
Well, suicide is the first one.
It will cause you to commit suicide. Murder could have been a choice.
Murder
Cause
is
you to
bad.
commit succeed.
Oh no! Oh no!
Come on.
Scroll.
You gotta be multi-talented. Click and scroll.
What?
make you kill people.
We'll make you suicide people.
We'll make you succeed people.
We'll make you female people.
And we'll make you female people.
It'll make you antisocial people.
It'll make you male people, which causes the stereotype.
He couldn't be bothered to phone it in, so he just mailed it in.
Yeah.
This does not get my stamp of approval.
No.
We'll make you more
Male in
DDRPG will make you more violent in real life.
violent.
antisocial. Come
Are
on.
you sure we'll make you more male?
No,
I'm pretty sure it's violent. It's violent because of the order. They do. It's in the same order as before.
You think it's violent or antisocial? Violent?
Okay.
Because they're talking about violence of murder and suicide.
We can change before we go on if we have to. Make you more violent. D&D role-players have no blank to their life.
Female.
Meaning.
That's meaning.
You're not being a good advocate.
He's a player archetype specialist. He doesn't care.
I need to work on my obnoxiousness.
D&D RPGs will lead you to the blank and the devil worship.
He doesn't.
Get you to the church on time.
The cult.
What's the occult in church?
The occult doesn't pass the hat.
No, they pass it as the skull of their enemies. Alright.
Which takes a lot more commitment, if you ask me.
Just a little.
This is people.
First of all, you have to have an enemy.
This one's people.
And it's only for people with no people skills?
Social skills.
Social skills. Sorry.
Female skills.
Also true.
Alright, guys. You're trying to get us in trouble here, I can tell.
Gonna? I think we jumped that line a
They'll make
long
you blank the layperson use of the term. D&D RPG will make
Antisocial.
you antisocial, the layperson. Yeah, because that's the only one that has a
Make you
secondary.
losers!
Either that or succeed.
The blanks are dorks, nerds, geeks, and
Losers!
Female.
females.
Male.
Now you got me doing it.
Success.
D&D RPG players can't blank in real life and live in their mother's basement.
Female.
Succeed. Get female.
I think it's female.
Role-playing gamers are all female. No.
Yeah.
Male.
Any female role-playing.
Typical.
Are we happy with our answer?
Typical.
I'm always last.
Let's just use it more.
And then you guys take my character sheet and write all over it, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Actually, you can't do that. Sorry.
That's because you need to stop writing it in lipstick.
I'm going on.
Alicia Day is coming to
It's
your
not
house and
pink
she's
and
going
have
to toilet
perfume.
paper.
We only have an hour, guys. Come on.
Yeah, do you think we're not going to finish this quiz in an hour? Because you might be right. Okay.
Mazes and monsters.
Yes.
Yes.
People, we have to read the thing for the audience.
Oh, yes.
Ugh.
People often conflate the 1982 made-for-TV fiction movie. Go ahead, you can type it in.
It's going to be misspelled, but yeah.
Mazes and Monsters, which include the actor Tom Hanks, combined with some skewed events from the Dallas Egbert III real-world missing person case. They claim that there was an event in real life where role-playing gamers lost it in the steam tunnels because he became so obsessed about a role-playing game and either killed himself or others. In reality, none of this happened, and even the movie, though distorting role-playing games, did not have anyone killed. But many people cite these conflated sources into a single story and actually being a real example of the dangers of role-playing games. You know what the greatest danger of role-playing games are?
Eating too much?
No, metal four-sided dice.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Or
That sounds very painful stuff.
I actually
Or
read a book
actually-
in high school. It was like a murder mystery, and it set up that two kids were supposedly both suicidal and homosexual, and there was a copy of D&D role-playing books left at the site. Now, the way it was set up was that they're not actually that way, but the stereotype was so ingrained that somebody actually wrote a novel about how the stereotypes were affecting people's beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the title right off the top of my head, but anyway, just brought that all back.
I'd also like to point out that
I have the mouse.
there's a typo in the role-playing aim. It should be role-playing game. There's a G missing.
No, he did that on purpose. No, yeah. Write these notes down because I'm not going to remember.
I specifically said I haven't updated the question database yet.
Okay.
Leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
He said that like 20 minutes ago.
Oh.
Blank was the creator of the Anti-RPG Association BAD.
Not Sarah.
Patricia Poland.
Also known as Negra Nancy.
Not spelled correctly.
Is,
There's an I after the
Not
there's
Patricia.
a okay. Where am I?
CIA.
CIA?
They know.
Is it polling?
Yeah.
Is Patricia a word? Is that a word?
Yes.
That's how you spell Patricia.
Otherwise, it's Patricia.
Patricia.
They
Sounds like a
can spell. I
disease.
can type. I can't watch
Geraldo
you do
Rivera
this.
was the famous primetime investigative journalist with the signature large mustache that at the time set the historical record for the most watched 2-hour TV documentary in 1988 with the primetime expose broadcast on NBC.
You know, she doesn't give away the answer.
Yeah,
To the other one.
it was very rude. I would have liked that.
Because we could go back and correct
I
it.
know.
Okay, spell it.
Geraldo.
That's not how you spell it.
That's
No,
how
it
you
is
spell
how you spell it. Geraldo.
That's no.
It's not how you say it. It's how you spell it, but it's not how you say it.
Let's
Is
see
that
what
how
happens
you
when I
spell it?
right click on
Yes,
it.
that's correct.
What's happening?
No, it's not working. Go ahead, type.
No, Rivera.
Rivera.
River with an A.
Not there.
An A at the end.
Rivera.
Yeah.
There we go. Sorry. That
Now
was
watch.
definitely the
Watch. This is
dyslexia.
good. Yo, let go for a second.
Oh gosh. Oh.
Geraldorivera. So we got it correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Came up right. According to the lecture, more than blank percent of the media coverage of role-playing games from the 1985 through 1994 was negative in the U.S. and Canada.
100%.
You can't have more than 100%.
I know.
That's my guess. What do you got?
I
No,
think
there's
that's
one.
correct. I think it is 90%.
Sure. I like it. Yeah. I wasn't there.
I don't remember hearing one positive thing in that period.
Well, when Game Anderson or Gary Gygax was on fighting the other people with their... I know of at least 4
I never saw them on
interviews.
TV ever.
Case that's often cited as why role-playing games are bad actually really had nothing to do with the events being linked to role-playing games. The events from the Dallas Egbert III missing person case is mistakenly recounted by the press and individuals as an example event where a role-playing gamer lost it in the university steam tunnels because he became obsessed with D&D and either killed himself or others. Did I not just read this to you guys?
No, keep going.
That part.
In reality, the Egbert case was investigated by a private detective whose information the media used as an example of the dangers of a role-playing game. Once Egbert turned up a few weeks after his disappearance, though, the press didn't follow up, and it was proven that D&D had nothing to do with his disappearance. Instead, it turned out it was his abuse of...
Drugs!
I was going to say females. No.
You're going to get a shutdown.
No. Yeah, we are shut down already. Yeah, notice we have no audience.
But we have 2. That's what this one says.
Yeah, and they're both us.
So? We can shut ourselves down. Okay?
Drugs. Next. And this is your fault that female line was from, because you guys kept doing that and everything. One of the earliest shots taken at role-playing games, according to the lecture sample, was the October 8th, 1981 article, Evangelists See Dungeons & Dragons Games as a Front for...
Cult.
Demon worship. Or
Devil.
Devil worship.
Well, it's gotta be one of them.
Devil worship.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because... Yeah.
It's devil worship.
Yeah, because the cult worship doesn't actually make sense.
Missing person 1980s Egbert case was investigated by a private detective, William Deere, and he published a book about the case titled 3 words.
Mazes and Monsters.
No.
No, that's a movie.
I thought the book had the same title.
No, it did not.
Oh.
Dungeons and Death.
Tunnels and Trolls.
What?
How come you can look over every week?
Because I'm teaching.
I should have looked quicker. What color is it?
The Gygax effect?
It was fine.
Okay.
It's something
Guys,
else.
I'm more interested in you guys learning. I'm missing it. Am I missing it? I was reaching for it. I saw it in my head. My second. There it is. The Dungeon Master.
Oh.
Disappearance of James Dallas Egbert III by William Deere.
Did I spell dungeon right?
Yes. Finish attempt. Ooh, that was the final question.
Yeah, that was the final question. So
Lucky number 13! We win the occult prize.
we saved all the answers. We submit all and finish. We know we got at least one wrong.
Yeah.
We know we got a couple
I'm gonna
wrong.
11.
That's what I'm guessing.
Okay, well, we're 11, buddies.
Yeah, our wrong
I'm going to
answer
say
was
5.
Fine, if I have to share.
Yeah, we knew that was...
Hey, we got 10.8. That's
We got wrong answer wrong? How'd that happen? Devil worship exposing Satan's underground.
So,
Okay,
even any of our educated guesses would have been wrong.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Okay, Satanic is correct. Bothered about Dungeons and Dragons. Just a Game is correct.
Yay.
Moral Panic is correct.
You got all of these flipping.
We got
Yeah.
yes. It was suicide, murder, violent, meaning, occult, social, antisocial, loser, success, male and female. The correct answer is, according to the lecture, detracts the lengthy list of things. Blah blah blah. Blah. It's just a repeat of what you saw there. So we don't have to do that. Mazes and Monsters.
Yay.
Patricia Pulley.
Did we get it wrong?
No, we got it right.
You're booing Patricia. Okay. Geraldo Rivera, we got it correct. It's 95.
Ow! Jeez.
All right.
Didn't go high enough.
Yeah.
Drugs. Devil worship?
Demon.
Not quite the word we use in the article. The correct answer is demon.
We don't got
So
points.
basically, the difference between lawful evil and chaotic evil.
But the article
Demon
this was demon.
There is a difference between demons and devils.
There is, but
yeah, alignment.
Well, no,
I've just never heard it. I've never heard someone say that in regular conversation ever.
So
Demon.
in the article, it specifically states demon.
No, if that's what it's,
So we just have to remember that. We have to learn this stuff. The Dungeon Master is the correct answer.
Yeah. Okay.
Of course it is. We looked it up.
So
Weird.
what was the title of that first obnoxious thing again? I don't remember ever talking about that.
Scroll down.
I wanted to get back to the overview of RPGs.
But we want to look at the first question again real quick.
First question is Devil Worship exposing Satan's underground.
That's enough.
So why is this one here partially correct? Oh, because it was we
the
said
one.
devil.
Yeah,
they gave us part credit for
They
it.
gave us 0.8 out of 1.
Yep. Instead of demon.
Okay.
Very generous.
Which still does not make it so that we succeed.
We did not pass
We
these
used to
quizzes.
get 100% on these quizzes. We're in administration straight up mode.
RPG formats.
Yeah, let's take that quiz.
Pros and cons.
Because let's first do the pros and cons and then take the quiz. Because I did not teach the pros and cons to you.
That's something we need to know.
All right. And he added hybrid last after the quiz, so that's not going to count. In this section, we'll quickly review pros and cons of each RPG format. And tabletop pros: cooperative gameplay rather than the competitive use of CRPG and LARP. Very social, accessible to a wide range of populations, especially compared to CRPGs, hardware, software, and subscriptions. TRPGs can be very
expensive.
I'm going to say that. Just it would be nice if the word was included. Encourages creativity, practically unlimited flexibility of options, easy to find players, groups, and smaller cities.
To support us.
It's apparently no. Wait, the correct answer. I want to give you the correct answer to this. Especially compared to CRPGs, hardware, TRPGs can be very inexpensive.
Yeah, because only one person has to buy the books.
Right.
Like I was saying, /
You can literally play Dungeons and Dragons for free.
Yeah. Because basic edition can be found online.
Encourages creative and practically unlimited flexibility of options. Easy to find player groups in small cities or larger. Easy to find locations to play, tables and chairs. Very little equipment needed, typically just paper, pencil, dice. Can encourage many other interests: history, literature, cartography, painting, sculpting, metallurgy, physics, etc. Ancillary activities like miniature painting, terrain building, etc. generally help encourage building social skills, more effective communication skills, and better cooperative problem-solving skills. Some of the more complex systems help improve basic math skills to regular use and practical application. Cons: not enough physical activity. No current research on obesity rates as there is for computer-based role-playing games. Difficult to find player groups in small towns. Ongoing social stigma and outright hostility in some locations. For those that may have a problem with these requirements, require social skills, effective communication skills, and cooperative problem-solving skills in order to function effectively in the game. So if you don't do those, these will help develop them, but it also can be a barrier. Some of the most complex systems might require frequent use of rudimentary math skills, which may cause some people to experience anxiety. Math anxiety is a real thing. Live action. Pros. Physically active degree varies. Accessible to a wide range of populations. Some versions encourage teamwork, encourages creativity, encourages problem-solving skills.
Encourages the black screen.
Somebody want to read for me, or are you going to wait for me?
Sure. Especially buffer and in the USA, more often competitive than cooperative.
The combat-centered LARPs are more athletic-focused, excluding other player types. But we have proven that we can do wheelchair LARP. Can be somewhat expensive for equipment costumes, though less expensive usually than computer-based role-playing games.
And not just wheelchair LARP. Very low mobility wheelchair LARP.
Hard to find groups in area. I've invented wheelchair jousting. I'm claiming it. I know somebody else did it before me, but I'm claiming it. Location accommodations may be challenging and or limited by weather or if outdoors. I don't actually know that somebody thought of the idea first, but I just have to assume. Don't I? No, I really
Since you put wheels on chairs, people are going to roll at each other with other things in their hands.
Yeah, so ongoing social stigma and downright hostility in many locations more than other forms of role-playing games.
Yeah, it does tend to be the bottom of the pecking order.
What are you looking up?
Wheelchair jousting. And it looks like 2008 is the earliest video. No, 2007.
Yeah.
On the first page.
Wheelchair jousting?
Pretty sure it was earlier than that.
Yeah. That's just YouTube videos from the first page of Google. Sorry.
Okay. Computer-based pros. Readily available in many styles, formats, genres, titles. Very popular and more culturally acceptable than tabletop or LARP. More flexible options than CYOA. Online versions can join...
not CYOA. More flexible than SABM.
SABM. Online versions can join with existing friends, family, and make new friends online. Easy to find others to game with online. Research shows about 1 hour per day, very beneficial to key brain development. Can help bedridden and some phobic participants connect with the world when they would otherwise normally be socially isolated behind the safety of the screen/keyboard console. Cons. Not physically active. Research shows higher levels of obesity. Offline versions are not social.
Keep reading.
Online versions can have rough online communities and poor social experiences. Far less flexibility in choices due to rigidly programmed structure compared to tabletop role-playing games, or LARP. Less freedom.
Typically doesn't encourage strong communication skills. Companies build in too much grinding and hooking to optimize making more money rather than enjoyment of the game. This can feed addictive-like behavior patterns by design.
That's the note for Hawk.
Oh, that's for Hawk, because I could not read that.
I'm sorry. Micropayments and additional pay-to-play/compete are increasingly annoying and off-putting. Can be expensive. Upfront costs $60 plus, monthly $15 plus, gaming hardware upgrades, etc. Online anonymity can lead to incendiary behavior, aggression, and mistreatment of others.
Solo adventure books and modules. Pros. Accessible to a wide population. Flexible time commitment. Well structured and reusable. Cons. Not social unless read aloud by another. I have done group solo books.
We tried to do it on the channel.
Yeah, we did for a conference.
Right? And we have, it's not here right now because I borrowed it because I'm learning to run it because I'm going to run it for a TBI, traumatic brain injury person, next Tuesday. But we are doing a trademark choose your own adventure board game, which is a hybrid.
Yeah, that was the one that was
Now,
here.
next Thursday, we will be running that.
Okay.
We will be playing that game. We will have a discussion on SABMs in general, and then we will play that. Cons, not social unless read aloud. Does not really allow for character development, some of them. Requires
Matching language.
and requires reading skills or someone to read for them. Take a break before the quiz. As anybody really need a quiz? We don't have time for a break.
We can wait 30 to 45 minutes.
Do I punch him? Punch him down?
No.
RPG format summary quiz.
Right. Roll up my sleeves.
Sleeves?
Sleeves.
Ooh, last time we only got 9.3 out of 10.
Bring it.
You can beat it.
Reattempt quiz.
Oh, God.
According to the course, some of the pros and cons of the live action format include.
You're going to have to
Go down.
drag.
It's a drag.
Oh no, I hate those.
This is a drag.
Alright. Pros, physically blank.
Oh, man. Physically active.
Yeah.
It takes all of your skill.
Hush. Blank to wide range of populations.
Available.
Accessible.
Accessible.
Ah, yeah. That's a lot of questions.
Worth a lot of points. Some versions encourage.
Can we see the option? That's a lot.
Problem solving, teamwork, expensive, creativity, combat centered.
Problem solving.
Problem solving.
Yeah.
And teamwork.
Yeah, I feel like it's teamwork.
Problem solving should be at skills, right?
Yeah, that
would make sense.
Yeah, so teamwork.
So that one's teamwork, and the other one is creativity.
Yeah.
Physical, okay, and cons, especially BOFR in the U.S., are more blank than blank.
Competitive.
And cooperative.
Yeah.
Combat centered.
Competitive. The blank LARPs are more athletic focused.
Combat based.
Combat.
Yeah.
Blank.
The combat LARPs are more athletic focused, blank many other player types.
Go down.
Excluding.
This is the first of 60 questions.
All right. Can be somewhat blank for equipment costumes, though less expensive. Yeah, but that question is answered in and itself, right?
Less expensive.
Yeah.
Hard. Difficult.
Difficult to find group in an area. Blank accommodation being challenging. Limited by weather if outdoors. Ongoing social stigma and on-right hospital minute locations. Yeah, people get mad when you see LARPing.
Yeah, I've seen that.
The four-letter word for the digital format.
eRPG.
No, because they haven't changed it.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see what if he has updated. I know he probably hasn't, so we'll go see what CRPG. Next page. Pen and paper.
Oh, I'm just gonna put a T in there just to mess this up.
Okay, blank that determines success or failure in an attempt and action is part of the game component. 3 words.
Rolling a die.
No.
Have fun.
Part of the game.
I feel like randomization, which be
Yeah, randomization is the word I want, but that's one word.
Yeah.
Because it's doing something that determines success or failure.
Part of the game component. Components that make up a game.
Rolling a die.
That's what I said. No one hated it, so.
Roll a die.
I mean, it's 3 words.
I know.
That's not the right answer.
No.
But it's better than typing in the wrong answer again, right?
Yeah.
At least for trying.
Other way,
Right.
they get to.
Right.
Go to the left.
You
Okay.
go the other way.
Thank you, bye.
Five-letter acronym of solo version of the computer-based format of role-playing games.
No, because it's 5.
MM
and it's solo, so.
Isn't it MMORPG?
No,
Yeah.
that's. Isn't that the opposite of
That's
solo?
That's
version?
the opposite of it, anyways.
It would be CRPG. Solo, computer role playing game.
Three letters.
I think it's just SCRPG.
Okay, I don't remember that. Of course, that wasn't the part that I was in. This is what I should have been done. We should have gone through that whole course. That way. We will, from now on, I'm going to have Hawk set me up and we'll do the course directly from here because this is the best way to do it. The acronym PvP stands for what?
Player versus player.
Okay.
You have to spell that.
Versus is VER.
SUS.
It's relevant.
Yep.
Yeah.
Explain. One of the better known online massive multiplayer role playing games.
World of
is
Warcraft.
You sure? Do you have any experience with this thing?
I've got too much experience.
I know. Warcraft with an O.
You spelled it wrong.
World of Warcraft? What? War.
That's a different game.
I don't even want to know.
LARP. LARP.
An important consideration for different. We are reading these out loud. Did we not read those last questions out loud?
No, another important consideration for different games, especially CRPGs, is whether the game is blank. One depends a lot on reflexes, cognitive speed, etc. The other allows time to wait for each user's input before resolving action. This can be true for both solo and multiplayer games.
Turn-based? Turn-based?
I care about that.
I think it's probably turn-based.
Yeah,
I like that.
Worst case scenario, we'll get the right answer later. Yes, there's only 60 questions, so that's
And
why.
we're at question 10.
Most tabletop RPGs are generally blank in nature, but rather than competitive.
Cooperative.
One more.
One more O. Cooperative?
Nice.
No,
No, that's how
you're right.
It's good.
I was like, I don't. They spent a lot of time teaching me to write forward. Character is able to succeed at
Capabilities.
tasks beyond limitations of players.
Oh, that's good.
You tell I'm tired? I totally just used the wrong hand, right finger.
I can't read through this thing here, so I appreciate you guys.
Typically, tabletop sessions take place blank, though it is possible to play more or less frequently, or only run single session known as a one-shot.
I was going to say regularly.
I think weekly.
Yeah, weekly. Yeah, that actually makes sense.
From the external viewer's perspective, according to the course, what are the two main visible spectra of live-action role-playing games? 1 and 2. Choose.
Offer?
No. Oh, you get to see it? Oh, dang.
Okay, complex theater.
Complex theater, boffer, parlor, plain clothes versus costumed, gamist, narrativist, non-combat, dramatics, simulationist, non-combat versus combat, minimal, heavy versus heavy combat. I want to make sure there's no more.
It's the 2 versus 1.
I think so too.
Yeah, it's combat versus non-combat.
And quote and costume versus
Plain clothes versus.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
3-letter acronym for the first original format of role-playing games, the tabletop format.
Yes.
I'm waiting for this screen that's
If
black.
you're only at 3, then sure. Yeah. The next page, which you can't.
I can't yet.
No, you can't do that. Oh, go to the right. Yeah.
I know.
The blank is the ongoing series of connected stories through which the player will engage in developing their PCs. This may include a series of adventures underground dungeon crawls or across vast landscapes and continents or universes.
AIG.
Perfect. There are innumerable blank available for RPGs. If there has been a book, movie, comic book, television show, YouTube show, or any other media illustrating a setting, there likely is a role-playing game available either by design or easy adaptation to fit.
One word.
That sounds good.
Why not?
That's too big.
Genres?
That makes more sense.
Someone spell it.
Genres.
R-E-S.
What I'm saying.
Genres.
Yeah, that does not always work for my brain.
The
Please
blank
spell.
is the real-world person participating in the role-playing game activity.
Player.
Enter player 1.
You spell player as in P-L-A-Y-A. There you go.
Play out.
Wrong game.
Ready, player 1.
The blank is the character played by the GM that the PCs will encounter through their adventures.
Oh,
Non-player character.
No.
I like characters. That's all that.
That's spelled wrong.
Car actor. Char actor.
Char actor.
Not sure, dear. Ah.
I couldn't see it.
Non-player
Char actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never claimed I knew how to spell. As a matter of fact, when I took this over,
Blank make decisions for the characters, but must declare what actions the character will take.
Players.
That makes me worried that it's
I know, the
for
other one
players.
was wrong.
Player characters.
See,
What's the okay? Go back 2 questions.
2 questions? It was like 4 questions.
No, that one right there.
Oh.
No, one more. Go back 1. The player characters the real world. No, that's the player is the real world person.
Yes.
Non-player character.
Well, this is only one word.
Players make
Plural.
decisions.
It can't be player character because it's one word.
Right? Yeah. Okay. It's a repeated question.
Kind of.
restated.
Blank are representational, simulated, or actual.
Critters? Characters? Are actors? No, so no CH.
Yeah,
Char actors?
Yes, char actors.
Char actors.
Yeah.
When you see him using, I thought you heard car actors.
He didn't make change.
the four-letter acronym for tabletop role-playing format of the role-playing games, therapeutic.
Traffic.
Though by no means exhaustive, 4 primary roles are commonly attributed to
Game Master.
But the roles are author, designer, director, referee, manager, facilitator. Blank is the role that is played by the player participant.
Well, now we got that question.
Star actor.
Some things are.
You hear Ictor, don't you?
I hear Ictor.
My characters aren't that horrible.
Ick.
In the context of the course, the acronym SAM stands for Solo Adventure Module.
Yes.
Adventure Module.
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 Nope, it's E.
R.
Well, no.
Back one.
Space.
E.
Yeah.
Module.
Module.
Oh, I heard Module.
The acronym for MUD stands for Multi-User Dungeon.
Oh, okay, cool. I just learned something.
You're welcome.
Now you finally learned something?
Yeah, everything else.
I wasn't trying, I swear.
The acronym MMO stands for Massive Multiplayer Online. Massively multi.
Multiplayer?
Yes.
Okay, so.
Multiplayer, one word. Like tabletop, one word.
I like that. I've never. Okay. I mean, I'm not gonna.
According to the course.
Oh no.
I
Since I can't see through the mic.
According to the course, research from post-game participant
enjoyment and engagement questionnaires indicate that the most ideal configuration for TRPGs is as follows: participants blank, players.
3 to 5, 4 to 5.
Oh no! Why are there so many options?
3 to 5, 3 to 5.
3 to 5. 3 to 5.
I was looking for it. Session duration: 3 to 4 hours.
I should be going 8 hours every day.
Session recurrence: blank or blank as long as the sessions are.
Hey guys, listen up.
Once a week.
Weekly or bi-weekly.
Every other week.
Weekly or every other.
I think it should be every other day though.
You gotta get a new campaign every other day.
Go through an entire campaign every day.
Blank.
It's not uncommon to have groups with blank. Or
6
more
to
players.
8.
Each player adds a longer duration. And a longer waiting period for each. The course instructor indicates having run groups with over blank players, but uses a 15-second egg time, many hourglass, to keep everything moving quickly.
My tables rarely have less than 6 players.
20.
20. Or, sure it's not 12.
It's
That's 20.
Yeah, because that's the standard for Gary Gygax too.
Ooh, Gary Gygax.
Sorry. Wow. That was being.
Between live-action role-playing game systems, there are a wide range of options between the system structure, complexity. From one end of the spectrum to the other, the two extremes of LARP game system complexity are...
Oh no, non-combat and combat.
Well, it's gone.
That's not complexity.
Oh, that's not complexity.
We don't know, because the only way we can look at the answers is on a black
Oh yeah,
screen.
sorry.
Yay.
Here, I'll do
Is
this.
it like costume one? Because you get like all dressed
Okay,
up?
look at them. Dramatics. Theater.
No.
Non-combat. Minimal. It's very complex, related. Playbooks. Simulations. Heavy combat. Garnist. Non-combat versus combat. Narrativist.
Complex.
Probably those two. That makes sense. Complexity.
Yeah.
I think it's a trick question.
I know.
A 6-letter acronym for the computer-based RPG format that is designed for a huge number of players to participate simultaneously, such as World of Warcraft, EVE, etc. Yep, that's it. Suspension of
purpose.
Play the part of the play component. Disbelief. Suspension of disbelief.
Sorry, I'm in government class.
Disable life. Was it a gangster in a wheelchair?
Is it?
No. Just personal.
Not better.
Disable life.
L? I don't know if IEF.
IEF, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like, right?
That looks correct.
Yes. I like it. Oh, we're halfway there, guys.
I'm trying to rename life. Abbreviation of the form. Oh yeah, abbreviation of the format that you play by yourself, like choose your own adventure style.
SABM.
SABM. Player assumes a persona other than self, the blank, part of the role component of the RPG.
Character. I just meant the character.
Yay!
Oh, my eyes watering from laughing too hard.
Format blank, prepared in advance by the GM or purchased from a game publisher. Used to run the party through one or more connected game sessions. 2 words.
2 words.
Module? No.
Normal campaign setting.
Yeah, campaign setting.
Oh, GM.
Like champagne, but it's campaign.
And you act like I can spell champagne.
No, it's not
You're
how you
gonna
spell
hold
champagne, because it's
If you put an E on the end, it would
Some
no, 'cause there's
Pagne.
no I.
Blank, character aspects, traits, attributes, XP, etc. That's kind of vague.
That is extremely vague.
Player character aspects?
Player character aspects? Or just player?
No, player. Yeah.
That's a really vague question.
Yeah, it can be whatever I wanted it to.
No.
No?
No? Yeah, no. Player.
Okay.
I think of at least 4 things to put in there.
Acronym of SABM stands for Solo Adventure Book. Character has a means to develop and, over time, progress or grow. Some kind of a narrative component, often an blank narrative.
Just with a vowel.
Yeah, open. Yes. You win.
According to the course lecture, the 3 main play styles for live-action role-playing arguably are
Simulationist, gamist, and narrativist.
No. Buffer, combat, and non-combat. Well, sure.
offers 1.
Yeah.
I think it's
Narrativist. And then probably have to combat.
So, gamist, narrativist.
And the first one.
And the first one?
Oh, yeah, okay.
That was the only way I could show you all of them.
Well, no, there's
Where am
one. There's another ist one.
There is?
Yeah, it's the first option.
Simulationist.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
The acronym MMORPG stands for Massively Multiplayer Online Role-Playing Game.
I think that's not what we put for MMO. Got it. Multiplayer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm not with this.
Michael, I'm in a meeting. Call me back in half an hour. Alright, talk to you later.
Just kidding.
Typical game session duration is around blank, 2 blank. Though it is possible to provide sessions as short as 15 minutes, daily, semi-daily. Some players like marathon sessions of 8 or more hours, including 24 plus game sessions. Typically run for charity fundraising such as annual Extra Life, Children's Hospital 24-hour gaming, Extra Life. Provide a range and units of time, for example, 9 to 90.
I have done the 24-hour Extra Life. I have not had the greatest success on Twitch and YouTube for viewers and stuff like that. Just don't. Except for once. When I was doing a 24-hour live stream of Awesome Minds of Fan Delver. And we were like 4 hours left to go. We've been playing for 20 hours straight. And we said, well, we're going to go into this next part or we're going to call it. Well, let's see if we have any viewers. If we have any viewers, we're going to keep playing.
Oh, geez.
At the time, they told us that we had no viewers. So we quit. Which means I hung up on 700 viewers. The most viewers I've ever had, ever, for anything. And I just said, yeah, go again. Just,
you should have just asked for comments. Oh no, because YouTube wasn't that good in that time.
Yeah, YouTube wasn't that great.
The blank includes the location or locations in which the game play will take place. It could be real, such as a current day Tacoma, Washington, or Manhattan, New York. Alternatively, semi-real, such as Cairo, Egypt, but with animated mummies, zombies, and other mythological creatures. Or modern-day England in the Harry Potter novels. Or completely imaginary, such as J.R.R. Tolkien's Middle-earth, or George Lucas's Star Wars.
Setting. 41. We might get done in time if we really go fast.
What are the 2 most socially engaging RPG formats, which includes all the benefits and challenges of group dynamics? Use the 4-letter abbreviations for each, no commas or other punctuation. CRPG and LARP.
Yeah.
I don't know why I all of a sudden thought I needed needed the shift key.
TRPG and LARP are the most blank of the RPG formats, which includes all the benefits of the challenges of the group dynamic.
I don't think they're I feel like
Accessible?
computer-based.
Social.
Social, yes. Because it's group dynamics. So.
Yeah.
Oh wait, it said 2 words?
Yeah.
Well, whatever.
Socially engaging?
Right,
Sure.
yeah, that sounds right.
Why not?
No. Socially.
Lee, that's what I was trying to do.
Socialist?
Another L.
L-Y. There we go. No you.
Communist socialism?
I mean, communism and communism are basically the same thing.
No.
They're basically the same thing.
The group of PCs is typically referred to as the blank. There are many other variants for the band of heroes.
Party?
Wrong PCs.
Whoa, we did it!
What did you think?
I said servers. Oh, good.
Alright, there's only 3. We need to read the question.
Okay. Select the live action role playing 3 main interaction styles.
Evidence?
Listed in the course. These are
Oh, sorry.
the primary terms, not the example terms. The order listed in the course.
Oh, bull.
Seriously.
Can we just hit next question without mentioning?
3 live action role playing main interaction styles. Okay.
Well, it's probably alphabetical, so.
Yeah.
It's probably alphabetical.
Combat, non-combat, and bopper, right?
Dramatist, gameist, and narrativist. Or no.
No.
Plain clothes.
We haven't used.
Theater,
No, not really.
We haven't used non-combat and heavy combat because we use no combat versus combat. So.
Non-combat, combat, and
Plainclothes.
no, not plainclothes.
Okay.
Would it be, what is Boffer?
Boffer is just soft
Combat.
weapons.
Oh.
Full
Where
of
did
combat.
combat die?
It's heavy combat.
Yeah, it's non-combat, heavy combat, and something else.
That's not heavy combat.
Up right below plainclothes.
Yeah.
Non-combat, heavy combat, and narrative.
Parlor?
Parlor.
Theater.
Parlor.
No.
I think it's minimal, but
I don't know.
Actually, that makes sense.
Let's just go on because
Yeah.
we'll get it wrong and we'll find out the answer.
More complicated solo adventure variants that were in the classic module format, such as by TSR and others, that include magic ink revealed by a yellow highlighter or red decoder cards, etc., allowing for a fairly comprehensive TRPG experience for one participant, are considered in the course of by the 3-word term.
Solo adventure module.
solo adventure book.
Are they?
No.
Module.
Oh,
Module.
solo adventure module. Yeah. Sorry.
Module.
No.
Not medulla.
Getting longer and longer. L-E.
L-E. Not module. It's like a duel between modes. Hey, Mo!
Four-letter acronym for the solo format of the role-playing games, including books and modules. SABM.
I had it right the first
You
time.
had it usually. I'm like, what are you doing?
I thought it for a second there. I was like,
Oh my
C.
gosh! Remember to finish this quiz.
No.
Some RPG systems can more quickly build and solidify feelings of camaraderie through their gameplay rules. One system in particular, Blank, Game of Thrones RPG, using their house building rules, has been repeatedly shown to be very successful at building the group belonging and comradeship before the players even create their own player characters.
House of Ice and Fire.
Yeah. I know what that's on.
6 words. Do not use any
Well,
abbreviations.
you only have 5 words. House of Ice and Fire.
Song. Song.
Well, it can't be the song. That's 7 words.
No.
A song of
A song.
ice and fire.
A. Well, that's A song of House and
Yeah, get rid of house.
What?
Get rid of
No,
house.
no house. No
A
house. Song of ice and fire. No
That was
house.
my fault. Yeah. Okay.
Song of Price.
The blank may be as general as any game session activities that the characters engage in, or more formal modules prepared in advance by the GM or purchased from a game publisher. The adventure?
Adventure.
Campaign, one of those. Adventure.
Let's go with adventure. Why not? We only have 10 questions left in 0 minutes.
4-letter acronym for the computer-based format of role-playing games.
CRPG. Wait, okay, so can you just click next question?
You don't want to try?
No, do you see how many there are? Like,
This is LRPing.
Go ahead and just let's navigate to the end.
Just navigate all the way to the end.
Yep, and we'll get the answers. Because the review time is going to take us some time.
Can we just review the ones we got wrong?
From the end ones. Oh. I just made the weird noise.
almost there.
You know, you could have went over to the left-hand side and just clicked on the 60, right?
Or click on jump 2. Well, now you just click the first time.
You guys made it harder.
Okay.
So made all in
Research. Searches.
How do we do
All right, let me. I'm going to read fast.
It's not like very good. We just skip the ones we got right.
Okay. No, I'm just going to read. I got because the audience has got to help.
We don't even know what we got right. We gotta go to the left.
Okay. Pros. Live action role-playing. Physically active, accessible to wide range populations of versions, encourage teamwork. Yeah, that's okay. We'll do it.
You realize how much you're gonna have to read.
Why is that one question at a time?
CRPG, correct.
Whoa.
Just click on the red ones. Or
yeah.
That's nice.
Rolling a die. No, correct answer is structure rules system that determines success or failure attempts. A structured rule system. That was mentioned. Real time versus turn based.
Oh
my God! The entire 6-letter. Where's did it indicate that we needed to have a 12 answer?
No.
Real time versus turn based. Okay. Capabilities.
Yeah, someone said that.
Yep, you guys did. You just need to read it.
Dang it.
Okay, plainclothes versus combat,
It's
non-combat
backwards.
versus...
That's baloney. We got them right. That's
oh yeah. Okay, write a thing because we're supposed to be able to. Does it say as in the?
13.
You didn't say anything about any orders. So.
Yeah. Okay. No, that was number 13.
You can write number 13 because this question bank obviously hasn't been written down yet.
Number 13. Order.
That on there too.
Actions are representational, situational, or actual. Actions.
That was so big.
I'm at least the ones that we got wrong. I can't say that I didn't teach you because those were actually in the topics. Massively, not massive. Massively multiplayer online.
Oh, that means we got 2 wrong.
26, 28. Between live action role playing game systems, there are live scripting series between live action. Yep. It's complex and minimal. We reversed it.
Well, so write another one.
It's just alphabetical. That's the problem. How don't you use one that?
Yeah, and then don't post them until we're done because you're blocking my ability to navigate.
And this is number what?
28.
It's funny that way.
Okay.
Go to 33.
33.
We will.
Oh. I'm like.
Adventure module. Formal adventure module prepared in advance by the GM or purchase the game published to run the party through one or more adventures. Set game sessions. So the answer is adventure modules. Players. Measurable character aspects, traits, attributes, etc.
That was still super big.
That is super big. Put that on there as like.
No. That one's actually correct. Because if we went through the thing, we would have heard the exact quote of measurable character aspects, not player character aspects. So we would have. That's because we didn't. I read the one version of it instead of going through the actual cut of the course. So I'm going to take part of the blame for that. Grow. This is a close synonym correct answer related. The correct answer is evolve. We've got partial credit for that. Interactive. Some kinds of narrative component, often interactive narrative.
Open was just, I was thinking open and closed questions at that point.
Burn the lecture. Narrativist was the only correct answer.
The other two were just backwards.
Gamist, narrativist, and simulationist.
And that one does
did say you do it in order. And it's not showing it there, but that was right. It did say to put it in order.
No, that was
this one. It was the other. It's the next one.
Oh.
38. Put 38. Then it doesn't matter.
Okay.
$40. 3 to 6. Correct answer is 36 inches, the typical game length.
It was 3 to 4, but that was optimal. So 3 to 6. Yeah, that makes
36
sense.
is typical, but 3 to 4 is optimal. Okay.
We don't have to go to 50.
Nothing was right.
That's the answer.
Correct answer 3 inches is non-combat, buffer, and heavy combat.
But those that one did say it.
We have, and we did say do an order, and we did it. Minimum was not the correct answer, It's
was buff.
non-combat, buffer, and heavy combat.
So we had 2 of them correctly just done.
So
Now the rest are the ones we did not even read, so we'll try to get through those quickly.
I think that's where we gave up.
We did.
It is.
Okay, pros.
What?
There you go. It's back. Correct answer is some pros, cons. Pros, readily available in many styles, formats, genres, and titles. Very popular, more culturally accepted than TRPG and LARP. More flexible options than CYOA. Online versions can join with existing friends, family, or make new friends online. Easy to find others to game with online. Research shows about 1 hour per day. Very beneficial brain development. Can help bedridden or some phobic participants connect with the world and otherwise normally socially isolated behind the safety of the screen keyboard. Cons. Not physically active. Research shows higher levels of obesity. Offline version, not social. Online version being rough online communities and poor social experience. Far flexible. Due to rigidly programs, TRPG and LARP less. Typically does not encourage strong communication skills. Companies build in too much grinding and hooking. Optimization makes more money rather than enjoyment of the game. They can feed addictive-like behavior patterns by design. Micropayments and additional play, compete are increasingly annoying and off-putting. Can be expensive. Upfront cost $60 plus monthly, $30, $15 plus gaming, hardware, upgrades, etc. Online anonymity can be doing sedentary behavior, etc.
Anonymity.
Now, you guys want me to redo these, doing the actual course list next time we do this?
Kind of like that.
Yeah.
All right, one of the most famous solo adventure books. Oh, we didn't answer. That's why you got it wrong. One of the most famous solo adventure book series is Choose Your Own Adventure. The course described as a solo adventure book. Like, how did we get that wrong?
And we had the answer in the question.
The role-playing game is a set of rules established and agreed upon by the game creators. It's a system. 4-letter acronym is LARP, live-action role-playing.
We would have gotten that one.
I sure hope so.
We would have gotten most of these. I can't see this.
How many RPG formats will be discussed in this course? Answer
4.
with a numeral, not a word.
It's actually should be 5.
Not, yeah.
Well,
It should
once
be
this
fun.
is up,
Yeah.
I should have episode 5, yes.
Before Hagrid.
Oh.
Let's
Pros and cons.
Ah, dang.
We can review that later.
Okay. Thank you.
Far beyond their actual real-world abilities. T-Ray allowed to functioning games was far beyond. Leaping tall buildings, etc. I have 2 words. We would have gotten that right. Typical player participate in RPG game sessions, depending on format. It's 90 hours. 59. Imagination, creativity, part of play component.
Imagination.
Okay. Choose your own adventure. Middle Earth Quest, Token Quest, D&D, D&D and D&D. Solo modules, Lone Wolf. These are the ones that were discussed in our examples.
You're too low. Oh, I didn't see it.
Huh?
I didn't see it.
Yep. So, overview of RPGs.
Oh.
Now, session 3.
We're at 9.
Yes.
Or 9, 10.
And chapter 4 is research, brief summary of research on role-playing games. So, do you guys want to continue with chapter 4, or do we think you guys we really should just go through and properly do the course with this format from the beginning?
Nice.
Proper?
Yeah.
Proper.
Yeah, because, I mean, there's still some information that I'm not...
Okay. We will do that on the next Thursday that I'm doing this stuff.
Okay.
Oh, and
then we can proofread for... Oh.
So are we still recording? Or are we gonna...
I can turn that on.
Yes, stop recording, stop broadcasting. By the way, this is John Welker, Vice President of RPG Research, telling you, good gaming, good night, dream well.
Have a good night.
Thanks for playing.
Peace out. And Danielle probably says goodbye too.